It's called smut. Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't shut. If it's uncut,
Well, they do
and
also. They're
unsucked.
always like taking submissions, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quinn and Dipsy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they've been on a kick because they did Andrew Scott last.
Oh, I know, and
A
I
while ago.
listened to it.
That's what.
So the
got me
newest
on board.
one. Do you want me to give you hints and then you try
No,
to guess?
I just want to know.
Jamie Campbell Bower.
Fun.
Jamie Campbell Bower. And I was like, oh my
Damn
gosh.
it.
And okay, because they tease it. They do a lot of teasing in
Yeah.
their like whatevers. And so it was like trousers with the rolled up white button down rolled up sleeves. I saw the hair, I saw the earring, and I went, that's Jamie Campbell Bower. That's Vecna. I know exactly who that
saw
is.
it.
I saw it and
You
I was like,
sensed it.
and they've been teasing a lot of his audio. And one of the things he says is like, tell me how much you need me. Like it is, and I that's my reaction every time. I'm like, but I don't. He is not my type.
Oh,
I love
a
his-
slightly creepy looking man.
I know you do. That's your type. Oh my god.
He's a very hot man. Yeah,
Sure.
I remember that. I remember like the Stranger Things interviews and being like, "Oh, I remember being attracted to you." Like the Stranger Things
Yes.
interviews, like on the press tour, really brought me back.
I do think that like him in real life, if I was talking to him, I think he'd be so charming that I'd be like, yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. But seeing him, he's so skinny and bony. Sorry, these are not the right words. He has a very angular face.
Yes, he has
And-
cheekbones for days.
And I don't find that. I feel like I'll cut myself on them, you
I
know?
you need a strong brow.
Yeah.
You like wide shoulders and a
Yes.
strong brow.
I like to feel petite.
Yeah, you are petite.
I know, but I like to feel even more petite than I am.
Speaking of being petite,
Welcome to
Femmes Reading Filth.
I'm Emily.
I'm Jazz,
and we're here with a special guest today.
the wonderful Katie Edward, otherwise known as
Riot
RiotGrrrl
Girl
Reads.
Reads.
Girl
I think it's
Reads.
you trill the R, correct?
Girl, yeah.
Riot Girl Reads.
Reads. Yes.
Who is like a pretty famous bookstagrammer in Chicago.
Yeah, thank you. That's
Famous
very
to
kind.
me.
How does it feel to be famous?
Just like being a regular person.
Wow, you're so humble. And this is hosted in Chicago. We live in Chicago. You live in Chicago.
I do.
And the way we all met is because we found you on Instagram. We found you, like, no big deal.
Yeah.
We
You
brought
discovered
you
me.
up. We discovered you. But we invited you to our Headless Horseman live Halloween show.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a
think-
blast.
Yeah, great. And then you slid into our DMs.
I did. I shooted my shot.
Yeah, you did.
I was trying to be a brave girl, and I was like, I love this podcast, and I had such a great time at the live show, and
Yeah.
you guys really need to do those more often because it was really just such a delightful time.
Thank you. They're a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think that's why we kind of have taken a
We're
little
like,
bit of a break.
once a year is nice.
Yeah.
But we've done, I think Halloween has been like our usual go-to for our live show.
It's something of a tradition now that we need
Yeah.
to do a Halloween
Yeah,
thing.
we've done a summer one a couple times, but Halloween is usually our. So we'll see you next Halloween. And then I'm going to ask you the first question I ask everyone else. Do you know how to read? Can you read? Do you read?
Actually, I don't know how to read.
Fuck.
So.
All right, cancel this whole thing. Cancel it all.
Shit.
We're done.
No, I do know how to read. I can read, and I do read. And I actually write as well.
Oh, yes, correct.
Yes. So I'm a writer. I've self-published one novel.
Called.
It's called Call on Me by Katie Edward. You can find it on Amazon. I believe it might still be on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not 100% sure. I adapted that from a fan fiction I wrote for the Vampire Diaries for the pairing Clara line, which is
Which can I also say after, because we met before, like when you shot your shot, we also were like, let's all grab coffee. And you talked about that. And I was like, I forgot how much I loved Claraline. I did not read them, but I in my head, I was like, that's my favorite. And I started rewatching Vampire Diaries.
Nice.
And let me tell
Because of you.
it was really hard.
I'm sorry.
It was really fucking hard. And she keeps going, just go forward till it gets to Klaus. And I was like, I can't. I have to get there on my own. I'm still working my way through it.
Because he doesn't show up till season 3. And
I
you have to,
know.
in the meantime, struggle your way through Stefan
It feels
for 2 whole seasons.
it feels wrong to like skip it though. I feel like I have to earn it.
As a lifelong watcher of the YouTube compilations of, here are all the scenes with just these 2 people, which I did send her. I sent her the YouTube compilation of Klaus and Caroline and was like, just watch this. I don't know why you're hurting yourself.
I just need to earn it. That's who I
You
am.
You don't.
But anyway, so thanks for that. It's your fault. Go on.
I'm sorry. I've actually never rewatched the show because I lived through it once, and I'm like, oh, that's enough. What were we talking about?
Anyway, so you wrote a book.
I wrote a book.
Yes, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of it. And
as you should be. It's really hard to write a fucking book.
It is,
and it's really impressive that you like published it yourself.
Thank you.
It's
yeah,
very cool.
I'm very proud of it, and I try not to be, like that sort of female humble of like, oh no, it's not a big deal. Like, it's a big fucking deal. Like,
I have to remind myself of that a lot because and I think my friends have helped me a lot because they're always the one that's like, you've written a book. I'm like, oh yeah, I did. It was hard. I just never bring it up though. It's hard. So it was developed from fan fiction. So you have read and written fan fiction, you said.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You asked me what other kind of fan fiction I read.
Yeah.
So currently we were talking about this before. I'm reading a lot of supernatural fan fiction. In the past, I've read a lot of Doctor Who.
Love.
I read a lot of Hermione, like Harry Potter fan fiction.
Our audience definitely knows what Hermione is, so we're good.
Yeah. I was going to say,
at this point,
I think everybody knows what Hermione is. I've heard you guys talk about it repeatedly on the podcast.
I'm
which
so sorry.
I love and support.
Okay, good.
To circle back, as a reader of Doctor Who fan fiction, which Doctor is your doctor?
10.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
I went deep into 11 fan fiction for a while. So yeah. 10 is a classic though.
It's hard because him and Amy, like they meet when she's a kid, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I just feel like they're like they can't. I don't want them to be together.
There's some really good thruple ones though with
That
him and
makes
Amy and
sense.
Rory, and that's like up my alley.
Yeah,
so,
that reads. That
yeah.
reads.
I went into I have like my own hand. Sorry, sometimes my southern accent slips out.
I want
so
it to come out full force. You're good.
The words come out weird. My own headcanon that the doctor is just in love with Rose no matter what iteration it is. So I will read 9 in Rose fan fiction, 10 in Rose fan fiction, 11 in Rose fan, like all the way.
I love that.
Like,
I like
up and
that.
down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my main, what I've read.
Your main bread and butter.
Romance books.
Like what tropes do you lean towards and things like that?
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Gotta be all day. Really into like getting more into romantasy, which is kind of like the popular one right now. I'm not so much a dark romance girly, but yeah, I'm definitely getting more into romantasy because I want a lot of like drama, a lot of like, who did this to you?
Yes.
And like,
yes.
We'll die for each other. Like
Touch
Demi
her and
Lovato
die
said,
vibes.
yeah.
Oh,
touch
of
her and
course. Of course.
But yeah, not so much a dark romance girly, which I don't judge at all.
No, you're fine. I judge myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've dipped my toes in. I think like as deep as I'll go is probably like Butcher and Blackbird, which we were just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the fluffiest version of dark romance, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's fun, it's light, but you're also like, oh, this is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it's written like a romp, but then you have to remind yourself that they're serial killers.
Yeah, I almost feel like the dark part of it is more just the fact that it's gory, which
Yeah.
that I love because I'm a horror movie lover. I also read horror books.
Yeah.
So that's perfect for me. But like I tried to read what's that book? I can't think of the author's name. Lights Out, the one about
Navessa
Yes.
Allen, Lights Out. It's the stalker romance.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
Where-
I actually loved. I loved it.
You know what? The funny thing is, I liked it a lot, and I'm like reading it, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is very hot, but he's also like a huge dork.
What that's and
That helps.
It's such a like that's the lightest version of a stalker romance.
Yeah.
I would say it's light because it's funny and weird, and you hear his inner monologue, and you're like, this dumbass.
I am enjoying it, but it's also like there's parts of it that give me the ick.
Yeah.
And that I'm just like, I have to stop and put it down. Maybe one day I'll finish
I was gonna
it.
say, are you reading it or listening to it?
Reading it.
So I'm usually the same way, and then I found Lights Out on Spotify, and it's actually a great, like, it's a dual narration.
Okay. It's a good audiobook.
Yeah,
Great,
I had
okay.
a good time, and then it led me to Deep End by Allie Hazelwood.
Oh, I
again,
need to read that.
I don't listen to a lot of books, and I listened to that, and I was like, "Fuck, this is fun."
That one's on my list since you recommended it to
Yeah.
me. There's a level with Allie Hazelwood with me because I read her first couple when they were fan fiction, where I'm like, I don't feel right purchasing things yet.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time I will open it and I'm like, oh, I read this. Love Hypothesis, I was like, I for sure read this when it was a fan fiction.
Now that she is writing books, like, do you think it's just books now, or are they all from fan fiction?
I think maybe she's kind of started. I think probably she started with the fanfic, and now there's maybe a combo of the different inspirations. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
if she's anything like me, she's still writing fan fiction on the side just for herself.
Yeah.
I have like a Google Drive folder full of shit that I will never probably finish or like post on AO3 or anything that I'm just like, I just feel like writing this.
I want to read them all. I want to read all of them.
No. If you ever want to run them by us, you know.
Seriously.
Actually, the one I'm most proud of is, and I read it over and over again to myself, and I wish I could remember the actual plot I had in mind for it, but it's a Firefly fan fiction.
Ooh, fun.
It is. So I wrote it, spoiler alert, for a movie that came out 15 years ago or 20 years.
Yeah.
People don't die. This is gonna land me in some judgment, get me canceled.
Do you want us to say cut it?
No, it's fine. I'm sure there are others out there like me.
There are. We've learned that through the podcast.
I shipped River and Jane, even though there's like
there's a friendliness to it, and
and like I guess I ship them more in fanon because obviously like on the show, in the movie, she's a teenage girl and he is a grown man.
Yep.
And I like a lot of the times in the fan fiction I would read for them, it's always like she's aged up, like it's still a huge age gap, like maybe 15-20 years, but she is not 16 or 17 like she's supposed to be in the show. So
cool. It's all okay.
Yeah. And also he's kind of a man child, so it works
100%.
But I just like loved the idea of the dynamic. And so like I shipped them. So I started writing my own fan fiction for myself that like involved them kind of getting together in the events following like Serenity.
Gotcha.
Fun.
Cool.
And but no one dies.
Okay.
Yay. Yeah, fanon is a powerful thing, and I think that's something that I encountered when we started doing the podcast. Like the past season when I brought Hermione to the table, where I was like, okay, disclaimer, and then another disclaimer, and then another one, because I have a whole thing in my head.
Yeah, I was like, I can suspend disbelief because I'm already in a Hermione where I'm like, yeah, in the books he's a piece of shit. Right. Like, you know, but I am such a fan that I'm like, I can believe this. It's not my cup of tea, but I can believe it. And it was easy for that to go.
Because I just listened to that episode and I was thinking like, and you started talking about it and it's like, oh, they're in second year. And I was like, wait,
she's 12.
Well, I was
13.
Like, this is going to be a smutty fanfic about like, hang on, did we like age them up? Did we move? And I was... No, it ends up okay.
No, there's a reason that I was paying so much attention to how old she was the entire
time. And we
asked,
we were like, how old is she now?
I wrote it in my notes. I wrote it in bold. She is 14 now.
Yeah.
Now she is 15. We are moving up to a non-problematic place. I promise.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I was just talking to my friends about this who also wrote Clariline with me that I was talking about before. I was like, do you guys ever think about all those characters are in high school? Like
yeah,
but because it's a CW show, we know in real life that
all
the actors are 30.
Which I texted you when I was doing my rewatch of Vampire Diaries. Like, this man is at least 30. I cannot stand him. I was like, Damon and Stephen are stupid, and I was just like, oh god.
But I was like, you know, we were writing all these like super smutty scenes for these characters that are technically teenagers, and I was like, I guess that's weird, but I guess also our brains were like okay with it because our brains knew that they were actually 30 and not actually 16 or 17 or however they're supposed to be. But
well, and when I was first reading, for example, Harry Potter fan fiction, I was 13. Like I was so the same.
It's not a self-insert, but it's like, well, I'm the same age and I would be okay with
didn't
this.
Think well, not even that. I wasn't even thinking about it, but like it was like, oh, these are my peers. I didn't think anything of it, and now that I'm older, now I'm thinking about it. But it's what's been going on.
Yeah. It started when you were of age, and that's okay now.
Yeah.
Anywho, speaking of age, we should get to our episode.
Oh, we should. Okay.
So you sent us a list of things. We were like, give us some tropes. Give us some tropes, and we read it. I didn't write it down, but what we picked from it.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I sent you guys.
Should we? Do you have? Well, I can pull it up, I guess.
The list?
Yeah,
I don't have it on me. If you have it easy,
fast, yeah. So you gave enemies to lovers, or any situation in which it's like a villain. Opposites attract. Someone has a secret that's not a kid. and plus-sized heroine. So you gave us 4 kind of generic ones that we were like, okay.
Yeah.
And so from that, we ended up picking.
Opposites attract.
Okay.
Yes.
And so there's no real like research for opposites attract because it's not a like it's a very general trope. But in my trying to find it, I had a hard time because there's so many subsects of that could be opposites attract. So I was just writing them down of like what I could have picked.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple as well.
Yeah, I was like, it could have been like all of these fall within opposites attract of like arranged marriage, fake dating, grumpy sunshine, sports romance, rock star romances, like all of these things in which it's already 2 opposites, and they could end up being like you're my twin flame, like you are I found my other half, but like it still starts out as like, oh, you're a peasant and you're a rock star, like, you know what I mean?
And I do love the enemies to lovers flavor of opposites attract as well. I love the grumpy sunshine, but like they're or a lot of times it's like they're rivals at school. There's a lot of that
dark academia.
I wrote down also like serious versus not, like Clueless, like Paul Rudd. And like that is an opposites attract to me because he's all serious and political.
Well, he's going through his idealistic post-adolescence phase.
Oh, another one I wrote a motorcycle club is usually an opposites attract too. It's like a quiet teacher and a president of a motorcycle club, which is something I did read.
I always think of because I think my first probably exposure to opposites attract would have been The Cutting Edge. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Yeah, with Moira Kelly.
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, the mom from One Tree Hill.
I don't know this, but I believe you.
It's a skater and it's a hockey player.
Yeah, it's got DB Sweeney. Which I can never say his name without laughing.
They just remade Cutting Edge with the girl from Skins.
Oh,
Effie from Skins.
They sure did. Yeah.
But I did write down some of the AO3 specific stuff for this tag. So I was kind of surprised that it wasn't a bigger tag. Opposites Attract only has about 4,000 works.
Oh, wow.
So like not a tiny tag, but I was expecting to be in the 10,000s easily. I almost wonder if it's such a large umbrella that people don't even tag it, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. Or it becomes like grumpy sunshine.
That's
what to lovers
I was falling into
like
as
that.
well.
Yeah. And then the most popular fandoms are BTS, the Korean boy band.
Oh my God.
They are, I think, the most popular fandom at this point on AO3.
That is crazy.
They are everywhere. The most common like co-tags with opposites attract were slow burn and fluff, which makes sense to me. And there wasn't really, because a lot of times for these tags there will be a pairing that kind of dominates, and this didn't really have one. This had like definitely dominating fandoms, but most of them were either like original work or from the BTS fandom. Oh my God. Except for notable mention, there were 25 fics under the Wednesday Addams Enid St. Clair
100%.
Yes.
That is the most opposites attract thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So that was the only pairing that like I recognized that really stood out, because that is not the most popular fandom by far on this tag, but that pairing is just so strong that they made it in. Yep.
So here's the question. What would you like to hear first, a fan fiction or a book? Our feelings will not be hurt no matter what.
Goodness. Let's go fan fiction.
Ooh, all right. We're going to start with fan fiction.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to grab this.
Grab your wine. Let's get ready.
Here we go.
Okay. So I'm bringing to you a pairing that I've not yet done on the podcast. So you get ready.
BTS. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you a quick story about BTS?
Yes.
Always.
I've only listened to one BTS song ever.
Is it Butter or is it Dynamite?
It's neither of those. Fake Love.
I only know Butter and Dynamite.
So I have a friend who I met through Clairline fandom. Great.
Love.
She lives in Mexico. Shout out Natalia. She came to visit Chicago because she was seeing one of the guys from BTS at Coachella. Or not Coachella. I'm sorry. Coachella's not here. Lollapalooza. And I braved the downtown Lollapalooza madness just so I could go meet her, because we've been friends for 10 or so years. And we've never actually met in real life. And I met her other friends that she was meeting up with, and they go, "Are you ARMY?" And I was like, No.
I didn't learn what that was until like a year in. I'm like, what the fuck does army mean?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I've never been asked this question before.
And you never will again.
No. I'm not making fun at all. Like, it was just really
It's a
fun.
surreal experience.
Yeah, are you Army? And I was like, I am not Army.
No. And they were like, we're not going to talk to you anymore.
Right.
Yes.
I was like, I'm just dropping her off.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, it's a whole world that I have not accessed, and I feel like I should, because I constantly run into the fan fiction constantly.
Yeah. Well, and I don't like rock star romances, and that's all that is.
And it's RPF too,
which is a little icky
and
sometimes.
It's
yeah.
You know, it's similar to me. It's similar to when I read like One Direction fanfic, which I do very rarely, where like it needs to be very far removed from the actual people for me to feel
not for me,
like into it. Anyway,
love you, Niall.
Like the One Direction trope of like your parents sell you to One Direction.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I have read one of those. There's a very popular one that's yep.
Wait. I have not heard of this. Hold on.
Yeah, your parents sell you to One Direction. I don't know what you're confused about.
Why are
they selling you to One Direction?
Because they're in really bad debt. They need the money.
Yeah, and One Direction has money to buy you.
I need to read this.
We'll send it to you.
Oh my God.
There's a few of them.
This is fucked up, and I cannot wait. Oh my God.
One Direction fanfic gets real fucked up.
Yeah. It's like one of those like popular tropes within the Wonder. You know how like Hermione, there's a lot of like auction or war fix or like stuff. It's like One Direction. There's your parents selling you.
Okay, because we have done a One Direction thing before, and you did not tell me this.
No, and I wouldn't, because it was too dark, and it was Sean.
That's true. Sean is our buttercup. She is our fairy princess, and we love her. She's
I
our
picked
sunshine.
One Direction because she, in the pureness of her heart, loves One Direction, and I wasn't going to be like, okay, so you get sold to One Direction.
I also love One Direction, but my love is really fucked up.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to read that.
One time, I got targeted because I listen to a lot of ASMR on YouTube, and one time one of the ones that popped up was like, ASMR, your parents sell you to One Direction. I was like, what?
And it's so
it's just someone quietly crying for a while.
Yeah. You hear dollar bills.
All right, I gotta get to the fic.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. So this is called And This Is the Morning by energyintotomatos. Love it. It is 13 chapters. It is 34,000 words, and it was published in October of 2021. It is the 6th most popular fic under the New Girl fandom. The pairing is Nick and Jess.
Okay, love. Into it.
And it is a continuation of a scene, which I will get to in a moment. Okay. So just some background about New Girl as a fandom really quick. It's not a very big fan fiction fandom on AO3. There's only about 950 fanfics. So
surprising.
Like, not huge. I was surprised as well. And I was also very surprised that it is not a smutty fandom. Of the 900,
so silly.
That's kind of like of the 950, 700 of them are Gen teen or not rated. But Nick and Jess is by far the most popular pairing. There's like 700 works of the 950 are Nick and Jess.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the reason I thought this worked very well under Opposites Attract is because Jess Day is like the quirky teacher played by Zooey Deschanel, and she loves to play the handbells, and she does crafts. And she likes to sing everything and play the ukulele. And Nick is a dumpster fire bartender who's angry at everything and yells a lot and tries to fix a sink with duct tape and is just generally grumpy.
That really is a great Opposites Attract.
It's a grumpy sunshine.
Yeah.
Their pairing is a grumpy sunshine for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to run through a bit of a synopsis because this is one of those fics that picks up immediately after the happenings of an episode.
Okay.
So if you guys remember, so I kind of looked up the beginnings of the Jess and Nick relationship because I couldn't remember. And the first thing that she ever says about him is that he makes a turtle face all the time and never smiles. And that's like in the first episode. Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly.
Something like that.
So, over 2 seasons, they become friends, grumpy sunshine, caving because she wants to go on adventures. And if we remember on the iconic episode where they're getting closer and closer, they play True American.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's trying to like be like, I'm not a cooler, and hook him up with somebody. And she tries to orchestrate him kissing somebody, but then they end up behind the sliding door in the
that's
loft.
such a good episode.
And she's in her bra.
And she's in her bra and like a tutu.
Shut up and French me, Miller.
Yes. And he goes out on the balcony.
He goes, not like this. And then he goes, and then climbs out onto the ledge of the balcony. Yeah, Moon walks away, and he's wearing a woman's trench coat the whole time.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Because the one got mistakenly delivered to their home. And then later that night, they hear a scratching at the door, and they come to investigate, and it's the neighbor's dog, and she's the one that should have the trench coat.
Yep.
And he's forced to give up the trench coat, and the two of them are walking back to their rooms, and they have the best kiss.
It is.
And then they go to their own bedrooms, and then they come back for a second
she has a
kiss
boyfriend,
again,
right?
Sam, who's who's in her bedroom.
He's in her bedroom. Yeah, she has a boyfriend at the time, which Jazz, for how sunshiny and teachery she is, she gets up to some things.
That's one of like the best kisses in
is.
television history.
It is.
I think the one when the aquarium breaks.
Well, that's what we're getting to.
Oh.
So then later on, so they have the best kiss, and then the next episode, quick hardening cock,
which is one of the first episodes you ever showed me.
Yes.
Yep.
Because it's perfect. She's nervous. She gives him a ride to the hardware store, where she becomes more and more turned on by him.
Yes.
Because he's like doing his own laundry, and she's like, "What?"
He's getting the
He's
chain.
getting a chain out and is like grunting, and she's like watching him. And she injures her jaw at the hardware store and is on painkillers. And goes, I want to have sex with you.
And she pretends to be Judy Garland, and he goes, okay, Judy, let's get you into bed, doll.
He won't do anything, but she's very much like stoned and trying to come on to him. Headbutts him, and then she goes to the bar where he works and sees Olivia Munn, right?
No, it's his boss that's only there for one episode.
Yeah, it's like his boss. They like make out. She sees it. And she runs away. He chases her, and they start to argue. And he's like, "Well, you wanted to have sex with me, and you admitted it." And they start to yell at each other and make out, and then yell at each other more. And she's like, "Take your clothes off!" Da, 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 da. And then they are arguing so hard that they shatter the fish tank.
Yes,
that Schmidt bought because he wanted an angel fish that looked like Cece. Obviously, everyone knows this. So they're about to like have sex and make out, and it's very tense. But then the fish tank shatters, and then they continue yelling at each other. Go to their separate rooms, come back out, yell, make out some more, go back in. And that's the end of the episode.
Yes,
we are picking up immediately after that.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions?
Sort of like an alternate canon.
Yes.
All right.
Do we need to know should we say who all the roommates are?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Schmidt and Winston live with them. Is Coach there right now too?
No.
It's Schmidt and Winston. Winston is trying to be a police officer. Schmidt is insane and very type A. And then Cece is Jess's best friend, who Schmidt is in love with.
Yes. And they all lived on. Well, Cece doesn't live there, but
and Ferguson is Winston's cat.
Yes. So Winston, Jess, Nick, and Schmidt all live in a beautiful
and Ferguson,
unrealistically beautiful loft
in LA.
Yep. And so they're all roommates, and they get up to hijinks. And Nick and Jess have very deep sexual tension because they are opposites who attract.
Wow,
I know.
Who'd have thunk?
It's weird how that happens.
Not me.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is one of those fics where I think that the author just absolutely nails the voices of each of these very particular characters.
Love that.
Yes. So there will be some quotes just to warn you both.
Okay. That's like, also just side note, that's like the best compliment I think you can give like a fanfic author. Like, tell them that they are great at the voices and dialogue. I know I love it.
Like, there's been a few through, like the Superstore one in episode or in season 1 is one of the best ones.
Yep.
I think we had one this season too. Fuck, what was it?
Keep going.
I'll think of it.
Oh, it was Our Flag Means Death, I think.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
it was Pirates.
that was so like
they got the voices so well.
Nailed it. Okay, so this is all Jess's POV.
Okay.
She's waking up the morning after the making out and the yelling and the shattering of the fish tank, and she's trying to figure out what to do. And she's like, I know what I'll do. I will ask Nick to go with me to the Crafter's Castle. I have a 40% off coupon and we need to talk about this. And like, we need to get out of the loft. So this will like be my way of getting us out of there. And let's just rip the Band-Aid off in a public place. And she's kind of reminiscing about his strong hands. Cause he like lifts her up on the table.
He does have strong hands.
Yeah. And like
Strong hands.
has power and confidence. And he's also yelling and it's very hot. And she wakes up at like 6 a.m., decides on the Crafter's Castle, takes a shower, and shaves just in case more things happen.
Yep.
Sure.
And
As we are want to do.
Yep, we've done it before. And she's like, oh shit, we never cleaned up the fish tank. So she leaves her room at like 7 a.m. to go try to clean up this fish tank.
There's just dead fish.
And just like water, that
water.
floor is ruined.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but she's shocked because it's 7 a.m. She's shocked to see Nick up early and cleaning.
Hot.
And she's
What?
immediately incredibly turned on by this.
Sure.
Yes.
And because she has a deep competency kink, which is something we learned about recently.
Yep.
And she kind of squeaks and he looks up and kind of scans her and she realizes that she's only in her towel from the shower. She hasn't actually like changed.
Oh no.
She's just kind of spent the morning in her towel.
I can't do that.
I
I'm too
know.
uncomfortable.
Can I just say I lived
Yeah.
with dudes for like most of my single life and we never ran into each other naked.
No. No.
What a shame. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I will
Stomach.
say all the fellows I lived with were very attractive and good looking. I was never attracted to any of
Yeah,
them. But
right.
like yeah, we never ran into one another naked or
No.
almost naked.
Same. I would always bring my clothes into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain things you do if you're not in a fanfic or on a TV show.
Correct.
but
Or maybe secretly lusting after your roommate, I suppose. Like you're sort
Yeah.
of just
You're waiting for your chance a little bit.
But that would never
yeah.
happen.
Oh.
all right. Sorry, I'm
No, you're fine.
You're
So-
supposed to. It's okay.
Yes, that's the whole thing. So he's like leaning on the broom and like kind of scanning her up and down and kind of being a little bit flirty with his eyes. And she's like, Nick, why are you awake right now? This is the earliest I've ever seen you awake. And he's like, well, Jess, I couldn't sleep and I thought I'd get a jump on cleaning up our mess. And she yells at him even more. And she's like, you are the one that caused this mess. It wasn't our mess. And she really wants him to yell back to kind of continue what they'd been up to.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But he just apologizes, which she finds even hotter.
Oh, God.
It's just like, you know what? I'm sorry, Jess. Like, I would have much rather finished what we started.
Oh.
Mhm. And he kind of holds her gaze. And then she gets really flustered. She goes, what are you doing about the wetness? And, and he goes, what? And she goes, I mean the water from the fish tank. How are you going to clean it up, Nick? And she goes, you know what? I'm so sorry. I should be helping. I also wish that we weren't interrupted last night. And he goes, yeah. And also I was going to use my duvet cover to mop up the water. Here, see? And he like flops it over the water and is like pushing it around with the broom to clean it up. And she's like, I guess this works. Do you want to go to the Crafter's Castle with me later? And they're just kind of like staring at each other when Schmidt comes in.
Oh.
And Schmidt, quote, when Schmidt bursts out of his bedroom, he's bristling with the highly irritated version of his typical Blanche Devereaux meets 90s boy band member energy.
Oh my God.
Did you write that or the
That's a quote from the fic.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I mean, already with Jess's like dialogue, I can hear her
perfect.
saying it.
Yep.
the Blanche Devereaux.
Blanche Devereaux meets 90s boy band member energy.
Love it.
And he's yelling about his brand new top of the line fish tank being shattered. And he's rightfully pissed about that.
Yes.
Jess, after that happens, Jess kind of drifts away. She's thinking about making out and yelling at each other. And she's nervous because like she drifts away like in her head because she's nervous because Nick is a famously bad liar and Schmidt's like, what happened here? What happened to my fish tank? And he's pushing to know what happened and Nick is like, well, Schmidt, like I was angry fixing the sink again and I was just throwing tools around, man, and I didn't mean to, but like I your fish tank got broken. I'm really sorry. And Schmidt buys it and everyone is very, very happy about it. But then Jess kind of comments in and like says something along the lines of like, yeah, Schmidt, why is this such a big deal to you? And Schmidt kind of like goes like, why are you talking? You two are ganging up on me. This is a weird dynamic. And they both like Nick and Jess both freeze because they just don't want the roommates to know yet. They're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And Schmidt seems to have kind of given up on like being suspicious. And then he goes, aha, and turns and goes, You two know how upset I am about Cece's engagement, and you're planning some sort of special surprise to cheer me up, aren't you? You guys are conspiring with each other. And they buy into that immediately and are like, yes, and that's why we're going to go somewhere today to get supplies for the special thing. Yes, indeed. And so this whole time, Nick is making very intense eye contact with Jess. He's kind of scanning her up and down with his eyes. It's very hot. There's a lot of tension. And she goes back to her room to get dressed and put some fucking clothes on because she's still in a towel.
Oh my God, she's just been in a towel
This
throughout
whole
this
time.
whole conversation. Love it.
She goes to her room to change. She and to masturbate. She masturbates.
Okay.
And she also calls
Good for
Cece to be like, what do I do? Nick and I slept together, or almost slept together, and we keep making out. And Cece's like, you guys should be like, do that. It sounds like it's really fun, and Nick is like a decent guy, and like is fully it's the friend thing where she just called to like be put off the situation, and Cece was like,
go for it.
no, yeah, go for it. Yeah, do it.
That's the kind of friend I am.
Yeah, me too.
I'm an
And I go,
enabler.
why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Jess wears shorts because in the fish tank scene, he says, you're so annoying with those little shorts.
Oh.
And so she purposely wears shorts, like
This
her like
author
high-waisted.
Watched that scene like 20 times to
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
what is the exact dialogue?
They took notes.
I feel that.
It's time to leave for the Crafter's Castle. She comes out into the loft and she says, greetings, gentlemen, in a British accent, and curtsies. And Winston Britishes in reply, and good day to you, milady.
As I live and breathe, raisin.
And everything just feels like it's back to normal. She feels like they're getting away with it.
I love Winston so much. He's actually, it's on my dating profile.
That he's
of
your
things,
favorite?
Of things of like, what do you love? And I go, I love Winston from New Girl, ... He is so pure. And no one has commented on it. I don't know why.
Because they're wrong for you.
Because that's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
They're on the way to the Captor's Castle. They're bickering in the car the whole time, and then it becomes like a sexual innuendo fest, which was very fun to read. She said, because she says at some point, because he's like, well, I don't really craft, and she goes, that's because you don't have a creative mind. And he says, oh, Jessica, you'd be surprised.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This confident, sexy Nick Miller.
Oh yeah,
I'm not used to it. I love it.
I know, but he does have like.
Yeah.
Nick Miller has game, I think.
He
like,
does.
Very sweaty game.
There's
but
a reason
has it.
he had so many beautiful ladies throughout the
real.
the series.
Yeah. And she's very aware of how close they are in the car, and she can smell him. And she's thinking, we're getting her internal monologue about how she loves like the way he smells. And she inhales repeatedly. And then he goes, why are you breathing like that?
She's doing like an Anthony Bridgerton, like,
Yes. And she goes, I smelled a skunk. And he goes, so you breathed in as hard as you could, you weirdo. And then they kind of get to normal conversation. They talk about his family, and she feels very like fond and soft to him, and actually reaches over and takes his hand while they're talking about their childhoods. And he like tenses, but then slowly rubs his thumb against her pinky, and she's like, oh, he like likes that I'm holding his hand. That's good.
Okay.
And then as they're pulling into the Crafter's Castle, he says, while they're getting out of the car, he goes, by the way, Jess, I like your little shorts.
He noticed.
He noticed.
He
Oh my God.
noticed her little booty.
Yup. And then, they're getting out of the car, and she says, I thought you said that they were annoying. And he says, don't make me say it. And he says, it makes me want to do things to you. And she whispers, what kind of things? And he's leaning towards her and reaching down, and her heart is racing as he unbuckles her seatbelt.
You little
grinning from ear to
tramp,
ear.
you little
stop.
I'm loving this. I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Miller is all in.
How is there not more New Girl fictions?
I know. It's all
Fan fiction.
Well, it's probably there's a lot of like probably very cute stuff, but not not this.
This also seems like, because I used to write these like back in the day where I don't know when it was written, but like the person watched the episode and then they were like,
then immediately went,
yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna go right, because I used to do shit
which
like
also
that.
makes sense actually, because I do think the story arc for that couple in particular is really good. It ends well, like fans really like it.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that there's not a lot of people being like, I wish this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing. Like certain shows just don't have a lot of fanfic because the show is enough.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it
there's
was
nothing I want
satisfying.
to. Yeah. There's nothing
Yeah.
I want to build on. Nick, they walk into Crafter's Castle. He has his hand on the small of her back, and which distracts her a lot because she likes it.
Sure.
And then she proceeds to drag him through all 48 aisles of the Crafter's Castle, but she's beating herself up in her head because she's making rookie mistakes, like grabbing the wrong glue. or forgetting where the puff paints are.
Rookie mistake.
She's so nervous.
Yeah, exactly. She's trying to be sexy and picks up a paint, like a puff paint, and says, man, these lids are so freaking tight. Will you help me open the jar when I need it later, Nick? And he says, sure, Jess, I'll help you. And then kind of like walks away. And she's like, this whole fic, they have these exchanges where she says something, so like she's trying to be sexy, but it comes across like the nerdiest, least game possible thing. And then he just kind of goes, yeah, all right. And like
Hell yeah.
yeah, like takes it in a sexy way, even though she's not delivering it in a sexy
Jessica, I really
way.
like when you embody the character.
Yeah.
I felt a little sexy Nick Miller right there.
Thank you.
I was gonna say you're
and I was
doing a
like-
very good read.
I was
I'm
like,
gonna
wow,
continue- I'm gonna continue to inhabit
am I
this.
attracted to one of my best friends?
Well, I mean, if it hasn't happened yet, now's the time.
Are people not always attracted to their friends?
Bisexual.
Yeah.
I'm an ally.
So they're like, and she finally is like, I brought him here for a reason. We need to talk about this. And she kind of goes, sorry, I lost my place again because I said bisexuals and lifted my hand up.
Damn this pride.
She goes, Nick, we almost had sex last night. And she kind of feels weak in the knees and she's rambling and she's like, we should talk about it. And he puts the shopping basket down and grins and steps closer and says, yeah, we did. And kind of looks up and down the aisle to check for privacy. And then he kisses her right there at the crafting castle. Quote, Nick kisses like it's his calling. He kisses like he knows he's about to be arrested for a crime that will land him in prison for life, and now is the only moment that matters, and he has to make it count.
Okay.
And they make out, and he does the thing where he slips a knee between her legs and she grinds on him.
Oh my.
In the middle of the crafting castle.
In the
my God.
acrylic paint aisle, she grinds.
At least it's not in front of the puff paints.
I know.
I also assume this is like a Christian place because I feel like
It's
all
Hobby Lobby.
crafting- Yeah, it's Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby.
The castle is the gates of heaven, really.
Yeah.
So then he goes, I meant what I said last night, that he had wanted her for a long time, but thought the door was closed. And she's like, the door is very much open for you, Nick Miller. LOLOL.
She like totally
I
did
can
the
hear-
finger guns.
She does like
Ew.
finger guns. And then she gets like a naughty idea and she goes, meet me in the bathroom. But Nick is like, Jess, I don't have like a condom. So if that's what you're trying to do, like, I'm not prepared for that.
He breaks character.
Yeah.
OOC. I don't know.
I don't know. And they're kind of starting to bicker about that, but she's still humping his thigh. Like they're arguing about not having a condom, but he's still like kissing her neck. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, I am picturing this randomly in the middle of like a Home Depot aisle, not against anything.
they're against the shelves.
Yeah, I totally
she's-
understand that, but for some reason, I feel like he's just beveling his leg, standing there while she's like, "Okay."
That takes
Trying to screw her next to the screws. If you
Yes.
Ooh, that takes some like strength, honestly. If you
In
could
my
do that.
head, he's got the best leg strength this side of the Mississippi. Actually, it's that side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
My bad.
Where are
So
we?
in the middle of the bickering, he kind of just stops and he grins and kisses her and says, "Well, Jess, we can do other stuff. I mean." And a look that can only be described as wicked crosses his face, and he goes, "You did promise me lunch if I drove with you to the Crafter's Castle."
That actually took me a second because I was like, "Oh, are they gonna go somewhere and he's gonna eat her out?" No, he's gonna eat her out there
at the Crafter's
Yeah.
Castle.
It's gonna be his lunch.
Yeah, so she goes to the bathroom. He follows like 30 seconds later, locks the door, and then they kind of just stare at each other. I have an issue personally with the idea of fucking in one of those public bathrooms.
It's gross and it's dirty and
Yeah.
it smells like shit.
It smells bad.
Yeah.
It would smell bad.
Unless they have like one of those really hardcore air fresheners, then it's gonna smell like simulated pine.
Yeah. Well, there is
Still
a line in
okay.
here that the author includes where Jess is like, no, they're meticulous cleaners at the Crafter's Castle, and like points to one of those lists that are on the back of the bathroom door.
So it smells like bleach is what it smells like.
Yeah.
Sexy.
So the author did think of that. I
That's
just had
great.
a really hard time suspending my disbelief about this in particular.
yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, that's
Um,
I could never. I hate public restrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My body will hold it until even
I mean-
if it's for 10 hours. Like
Please tell me it's against a wall and not on the floor.
Hold please. But it's one of those single, like, you lock
It's
the
a
door.
single stall
It's
or single bathroom.
single bathroom. There's like sunflowers painted all over the wall. It's meticulously cleaned apparently.
I've also never felt the level of horny where I'm like,
Let's
I want
fucking
to do it in the bathroom. Like, and
Depends on the bathroom.
I can forget about all the things that are in the bathroom.
Fair.
Yeah.
They make out a little. He backs her up against the wall, drops to his knees, takes off her shorts one-handed, and stares up at her until she says, "What are you waiting for, Miller?" And then he starts to eat her out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Question. He takes off his shorts one-handed. What is the
Her
other
shorts.
hand? Oh, he takes off her shorts one. What's the other hand doing?
Kind of grabbing her.
Okay, that's fair. I was like, is he just like
Yeah. That happens, I think.
down at his side?
I think that happens before he gets on his knees.
Okay, this makes
Like,
more
they're
sense.
making
Like, you're
out, he takes
kissing,
it
blah, blah, blah,
off.
blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So, like,
Blah, 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 blah.
and so I don't even know if I should read this. It feels inappropriate to say it out loud. I wrote down a quote.
It's okay. Do you want to close your eyes? Do you want us to close our eyes?
I was going to say, I'll read it for you if you want me to.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to spoil you, so I'm gonna like zoom in on it.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
No, but yeah. Okay.
That one there. Oh, Jessica.
And you
Okay.
didn't want to read the Santa episode. There's a lot of reading in the Santa episode.
Oh, Jessica.
I'm not going to do a good Nick Miller read
That's
like
okay.
you did. Okay. Oh, Jessica, he says, his voice low and even, sliding one hand around to her trembling inner thigh. I'll do what I want to do to this perfect little pussy when I want to do it. You understand me?
But Nick Miller said that.
Okay.
I was like, I can't really like picture it, but
I can't picture it. I can never picture. Whenever I'm reading fanfiction,
the sex part I can't really picture.
Yeah. Well, like, if a guy is ever like, oh, this perfect little pussy or anything like that, I'm like, I can never picture the character saying that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I like the inclusion.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And it's because he's so silly.
Yeah.
He's silly.
He's such a silly character that it's hard to.
Whenever they say like they start dropping like pussy and cock, I'm like,
I
Yeah,
feel like
I
he's
have a
gonna
hard
say it in a voice too, like, look at this perfect pussy, say.
Listen, I thought the same thing, and then I rewatched the kiss scene and the fish tank scene,
and it works.
and it worked for me.
Okay.
yeah.
So he fingers her and eats her out, and it is fabulous. And she comes because she realizes the pressure on her clit is his quote unquote sexy broken nose pressing up against it.
Oh my.
And he knows that that's what he is doing. He is purposely like pushing his face
His
into her
sexy
clit.
broken nose.
She thinks
Oh
that
my
his
gosh.
broken nose is sexy, and when she realizes that he is using it as a tool to get her off, she comes immediately.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And then he catches her. She like slides down the sunflower wall. He catches her before she can hit the horrible floor and lays down her shorts and is like, sit on these. Don't sit on the floor, because he's a fucking gentleman.
Wow.
Don't put your bare ass on his dirty
Put these
ass.
dirty
tiny,
floor.
tiny shorts
Yeah.
probably on the
Yes.
floor instead.
He, after much gentlemanly concern, she finally convinces him to let her give him a blowjob. When she first sees his dick, it's so lovely that she's overwhelmed. So she says, "Well, howdy there, partner," and tips her hat to it.
Yep. That's
In character.
spot on. That is character. That is canon.
So they do that. She gives him a blowjob. It's lovely. They check out of the crafter's castle. They like buy yarn and puff paint, very ruffled. And Nick carries all of her bags back to the car.
Hot.
That's nice.
They make out a little bit in the car, but then 10 minutes away from home, Jess is like, what are we going to tell Winston and Schmidt? Like, we definitely are into each other. This is definitely happening, but like, should we keep it quiet from them? And quote, Nick Miller, habitual panic moonwalker, is somehow calm. And he says, in what she now calls his sexy voice, that they're going to go home and he's going to fuck her like he always wanted to, whether they're there or not, because they weren't able to last night because the stupid fish tank broke. They open the door. They're like they haven't entered the apartment. They open the door and they go, Winston? Schmidt? And nobody answers. Nobody's home. Nick immediately drops the bags like outside of the loft door, picks her up in like a bridal carry and carries her over the threshold and carries her to the dining room table they almost banged on the night before.
Damn, Miller.
That is the balls on that man.
Oh,
the
yeah.
audacity.
The audacity. There's a lot of dirty talk that I have not written down.
That's okay.
So much from him. She tries to dirty talk back.
No, she can't do that.
She can't.
She cannot dirty
She
talk.
can't.
No.
But every time she tries, he like looks at her with loving fondness.
Aw, that's cute.
And like at one point she's like in the middle of babbling and he just tugs her hair and pulls her head back to look at him and says, "You don't have to worry about that. It's okay." And she like almost faints right there.
Yeah, I almost fainted.
And he keeps her in that position with her like hair and head back as he once again removes her shorts one-handed.
I am feeling some way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let me tell you.
And
I just
reaches
do
down.
a little.
Yeah,
Like, little something. Little something, something.
I have to breathe.
He says, "Do you care about this shirt?" And she says no, and he rips it off her and the buttons fly everywhere.
I care about all my shirts.
I always love it when that happens.
I love when that happens, but I care about all my shirts.
I
And
do
I
It's
don't
nice
want
that he
to-
asked.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
I think
It did
That's
make
true.
it less sexy. It sort of ramped up the anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take notes, fellas. All the fellas
Ask
listening
first.
to this.
Ask first before you rip shirts.
Yeah.
Yep. He realizes that he.
We have guys listen to this.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Straight fellas. Or anyone who's removing any shirt. I don't know.
Consent is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
They realize he still doesn't have a condom on him, so that he has to leave her to go get a condom.
It's like that episode with Winston where he's like
He goes. He runs
Yeah.
around.
Yes.
Daisy.
Yeah. When he comes back, he goes, "I know I should have said this sooner, but if anything is too much, you just tell me, okay? And we'll figure it out." And she goes, "My safe word is apricots. I'll say apricots." And then they fuck, and there's a lot of dirty talk, and it's pretty much perfect, and it's on the table. And as soon as Nick puts his pants back on, he goes to get her a glass of water because once again, he is a gentleman.
He is such a.
Nice.
That's a good Midwestern gentleman.
He's a
right
good
there.
he's a good Chicago boy.
He's a good Chicago boy.
Yes. She goes, "That was a great trip to the bone zone." And he makes fun of her as he should. And she says, "You love it," and then freezes because she's like, I said love. Oh my God. But he doesn't freak out at all. He just smiles back at her and pulls her in closer. And he goes, "Yeah, Jess, yeah, I kind of do love it." And then
We both just like,
Yeah.
oh, isn't it cute? Isn't it cute?
It's funny doing this in real life with you guys because I'm doing it while I listen to you. I'm doing the stop. And like,
And we cut like half of this out too.
overwhelmed. And then they go to his bedroom to bang almost
Your bed.
almost immediately.
Love.
And
I will subtract points from them
Yeah.
for doing it in a common space.
yes.
That's why I said the audacity, the balls.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Jess has been a not great roommate this entire
I really
fic.
hope they Clorox that.
I always felt like there was an unspoken rule that you just don't do it in a common space.
I think so, especially on a table where you all eat. It's a little
I mean,
it's a little rough.
you know, if you have the place alone for the weekend,
Yeah.
Listen,
If
maybe
you
I'm
have
not a
the
good
place
roommate.
alone, but if the roommates are just out for an unknown period of time
Yeah.
and you know you don't have a full day to like clean and sanitize.
That's fair.
and-
That's fair.
Yeah.
When I lived with Lindsay and she would go away for a weekend,
You know.
yeah, it was everywhere. It was everywhere.
Congratulations. Honestly.
It was
sounds
a
like
long
fun,
time ago.
Sounds like a fun time.
My former roommates are listening to this and they're like, "Yeah, Katie, we never."
Right. They're all like texting each other like she doesn't know.
She doesn't. Don't ever tell her.
So they go to his bedroom to bang almost immediately after he gets her glass of water. And she asks him about the hair pulling thing. And she goes, "How did you know that I would like that? Like, how did you know that I would like you kind of taking control of the situation? And how did you know I would like dirty talk?" And he goes, "I picked up on clues over time. And also last night you yelled, 'Kiss me like a man.' And I figured out
Yeah.
what you
Kiss me
liked."
like a man, Miller.
You like a dom.
Yeah. And then they bang. And he says, "I like you a lot, Jess."
I can hear him say that too.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
"I like you a lot, Jess." And she says she likes him too and is all in if he is. And he says, "Yeah." And leans in to kiss her when she sneezes and accidentally elbows him in the nose. But it's okay. It's a sitcom. We can get over it. But they both forget about the Crafter Castle bags sitting outside the loft door as they fall asleep in each other's arms and take a nap.
Oh, Schmidt's gonna
And
find them.
they forget that their shirts are thrown on the table, hers ripped, and that there is a condom wrapper on the floor right next to the table. And they both wake to the loft door slamming. Jess is panicking, getting dressed, goes, "Nick, I don't have a shirt." He is just laying in bed grinning.
He thinks it's very funny.
Whose room are they in again?
Nick's.
Okay, gotcha.
He reaches for his like green Henley shirt and tosses it to her, and she dresses in his clothes.
Oh man, that's such a like.
It's such
I'm
a thing.
claiming you like.
Yeah.
It's the human
Into
equivalent of like I'm marking my territory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not going to lie, Jess. This right here, seeing you like this, it's kind of been a fantasy of mine for a while. And it's a damn shame these two clowns just got home because otherwise I'd take you again right now. And he gets up to leave with her, but they get distracted and start kissing up against the door. And they almost forget that there's like a problem happening until there's a loud knock. It's a knock at the door while they're making out, and she gets startled and accidentally like headbutts Nick.
Oh God.
And he goes, "Damn it, Jessica." And then the next thing they hear is Schmidt's voice through the door. And I have to do the direct quote for this as well. "Well, well, well, Nicholas, Jessica, you think you know somebody. I know you're in there, you horny, deceitful idiots. I just heard you both, and you will be joining me and Winston for a loft meeting on the couch immediately."
I can hear
Immediately.
Immediately.
You this
You.
A white man.
typical.
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 Kicks his foot.
No.
They're leaving the room, and Nick is like trying to coach Jess, and is like, "So we can't sit on the couch with them. We have to stand because it'll be more powerful. It's like a power move. We just stand." And he like winks at her, and they come out to a very angry Schmidt. They're like holding hands, like they're very like, "Okay, we're together
in it,
now."
yeah.
Yep.
We caught.
Mhm.
Jig is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like Jess's ripped shirt and their various things are stacked on the coffee table like evidence alongside the no nail oath, which is like something
yeah.
that Schmidt made them sign in the first season. Like they had to sign a contract saying that they wouldn't bang each other.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. It comes out later when they do get together in the actual
It's a very
show.
niche
Okay.
reference.
It's been a while since I've watched it.
No.
And not clip compilation.
And Jess intends to start talking, but instead clears her throat so violently that she just starts to cough. And then to try to break the ice, she says in like an old-timey British accent again, "'Tis likely but a minor touch of consumption." And like looks to Winston to try to get any sympathy, and he just kind of shakes his head, and that's when she really knows that things have gone badly. And Jess is like, "This literally happened yesterday. We haven't been hiding this from you guys." Schmidt starts yelling again, and Winston cuts in as the voice of reason, as he always is, and is like, "I'm really freaked out by this happening so suddenly, but I love you both, and I'm not shocked. But Nick and Jess, you guys can't screw this up, because this is a good thing that we all got going, and you guys aren't allowed to screw it up." And Nick says, "You know me, man. I'm never sure about anything, but with Jess, I'm all in, okay?" And Jess like wants to kiss him, but looks straight at Winston and says, "Me too, I'm all in." And it's very sweet until Schmidt starts sarcastically slow clapping.
I can see the face. Like just
Jessica. And he tries to bring up the no nail oath. Nick is like, "Listen, as a former lawyer, we drank an entire bottle of scotch when we signed that. We were not sober when we consented to it. Therefore, it is not a valid legal document." And Nick like talks Schmidt down as only he can do. And Schmidt goes, "No more sex having in the common areas."
That's right.
That's
Schmidt
correct.
is right.
Yep. He's not wrong.
Yep. And it all gets resolved. They order pizza and end up watching Law and Order. And when the group breaks up, Nick notices and follows her to her room. And they fuck against the dresser that he made her, and he picks her up and holds her against the dresser.
Don't look at me when you
and
say
they
that.
have sex, Emily. I wrote in my notes, parentheses, Emily.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you
there it
didn't.
is. Emily.
Amazing.
4 days later, they do actually throw Schmidt a surprise party.
That's good that they did.
They
Yeah.
needed to. It was Schmidt's surprise sushi supper. And it's great for her too, because while they're there, Nick fingers her under the table for only about 30 seconds. They're like sitting next to each other, and he kind of just gets wandery fingers and like touches her, and then kind of like looking like nothing happens and like touches his face.
Oh, you dirty rascal.
Little dirty dog there.
He washed his hands before he ate sushi.
And later, as they're having sex, he's like, "Well, I had to reassert my manhood somehow after helping you make all of those sushi decorations." And she moans, "Real men like crafting," as she comes.
Right on.
And he says, I don't know about that day, but fuck, I really do like you. Almost 2 years to the day later, they go to the crafter's castle again so Jess can get supplies for their wedding favors. And they have full-on sex in the bathroom this time.
Jesus.
And they decide that her bouquet will be sunflowers to match the wall.
Aww.
That was really cute.
That was like sweet and silly and
Yes.
hot.
That was great. That has to go in the pantheon of like great writing
Yep.
to match the character voices.
The author nailed it.
Also, you didn't say the end. Is that the end?
That's the end.
Great.
You all knew. You all knew.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
did. You had an air of finality. with it.
Yeah.
Good job. That was
That's
that was
sweet.
fantastic.
Yeah.
great.
And after this, we'll rewatch those scenes and you guys will understand Sexy Nick Miller.
Absolutely.
And my game is a very simple one. Fuck, marry, kill, Schmidt, Nick, Winston.
You can't do this to me.
I am doing it to you.
Marry all of them. Done. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill. Schmidt,
Nick,
Winston, and Nick.
Winston.
The thing is, I don't want anything to happen. I just want to be best friends with Winston.
Okay. So does that marry?
I would marry Winston.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would fuck Nick and I would kill Schmidt.
I would marry Nick. I would
It's because you
fuck
already married
Schmidt
a
and kill
Nick.
Winston probably.
I'm thinking of fucking Schmidt because I feel like he is such a Casanova within the
It
show.
would be fun.
I feel like he has some good moves. I feel like I'd have a good time. He would take care of me.
Yeah.
I think, and I feel like I would feel like a goddess, you know? You know? Winston I love. Nick I also love. I feel like I should marry Nick and not Winston.
Okay.
Because I feel like I could fight with Nick and win more battles, and Winston's just in his own world. And
You
I
want to
couldn't-
marry someone that you can win against?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
That's what a lot of marriage is,
All
actually.
right, well, I guess I'm having the same as you then.
Yay!
Wow, I didn't see that coming, but
there you
Surprised
go.
yourself.
I really
Yeah.
surprised myself with that
Yeah,
one.
good
Wow,
job.
good
Oh,
job.
that's great.
Thank you.
Great job.
I loved that.
Okay, opposites attract. Here we
Put that in
go.
the bloopers.
I had some issues finding a book. I was texting Jess about it a little bit just because there were so many options.
Right.
And I didn't know what I wanted to go with. And I had the motorcycle thing I had said earlier. That was one of them.
Yep.
I had downloaded a firefighter one. I had downloaded like a sports one because I was like, I just don't know the flavor. But I went on a generic thing. So have you read any LJ Shen books?
I don't believe so.
So
I have.
and I've done an LJ Shen book on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I used to love her. And I think she was actually one of the first big romance authors that I like pounded through all her books.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best way to
Pounded,
put
yeah.
that. But but there was a couple I did not read, and this is one of them.
Ooh.
And so I read The Hunter by LJ Shen. It's part of the Boston Bells series. Have you read this one?
I have. I think I don't know if I finished it, but I have
So
read it.
I read all of the other Boston Bell books except this one.
Bells, is this BELLS or BELLES?
BELLES.
Yes. Okay.
It is 394 pages. It came out May 10th, 2020, and it is a dual POV.
Is there a reason you didn't read it originally?
I read, so the second in the Boston Bells series is about it's one of those things where it's like a group of friends and they each
Yeah.
get their own.
I
That
love
one
that.
was marketed to me as a modern day Mercedes.
Okay.
And so I started with that. I knew about they make mention to the couple from the first book, and then as the series continues, blah blah blah. So I started at 2 and went 3 and 4.
Got it.
I never went back to 1 because I was like, I know who the couple is.
Right.
I read the predecessor of this on our Mafia.
Yes.
It's Sparrow. Sparrow is the predecessor.
Yep.
About the girl and this parents.
yes.
The FMC of this book, her parents are the couple from Sparrow.
I've read Sparrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it on our podcast.
Yeah.
and then LJ Shen also has another series called you know what? I cannot actually remember the name of the series, but the first book is called like Vicious, and then it's about a group of friends from California.
Got it.
And then the MMC in this book is friends with the California group.
MMC.
Main main character.
Got it.
FMC female main character. MMC
MMC.
male main character.
Great.
And then that group has another that like they have a predecessor. It's everything is connected.
So it's like Charlie from It's Always Sunny level thing, but it's a romance
It's a Pepe
novel.
Sylvia.
It's a Pepe Sylvia level web.
LJ Shen has
That
I think
LJ Shen has
her
created.
first couple of series were all Pepe Sylvia level, and I think
Yes.
her series now are not connected. I don't know,
I bet they will be later.
but
I bet it's all one world.
We can only hope.
But so you have not read any LJ Shen?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
It doesn't sound familiar.
She's a contemporary romance author. That's it. She's done some mafia. She's done some dark romance.
I would definitely say she sits more firmly in the dark romance space.
Okay.
I've read so much mafia and dark romance that I think of this as contemporary first, subsect dark. Does that make sense? Anyways,
Yeah.
I read like
we'll cut all this out.
I read like one mafia romance one time, and
Yeah.
I could not. I guess I was like kind of new to reading romance, and I could not suspend my disbelief long enough to. I was like, "This, what? Who just this doesn't exist."
You know what? You didn't read the right mafia romance. Let me tell you.
Well, the one I read, I don't even quite remember, and I think I ended up reading it by accident because it was like
I read it by accident.
Well, I mean, like, I didn't realize that it was the one I had chosen was
was
like
a mafia one.
Well, no, it was like a third or fourth or something.
Oh,
and
gotcha,
So I was
gotcha.
missing a lot of context.
Okay, that makes sense.
There was like a school for like mafia children. It was like Hogwarts for mafia.
Have I read this? Have I read this?
Have you read this? It feels like a you thing.
This sounds like something I would have read. But we have to get
Yes,
back on
LJ Shen.
Yeah,
What's it called again?
It's called The Hunter.
The Hunter.
Okay. You said it's contemporary?
It's contemporary.
Okay.
Great.
Hunter is his first name. Hunter
What?
Hunter
Okay.
Fitzpatrick.
It's not a title. It's a
The Hunter.
sorry. Lot of supernatural lately.
It is. You know what? It is a title. It is a title.
Okay,
It is a
okay.
title. Hunter Fitzpatrick is a rich fuckboy.
Great.
He wakes up in his friend's house in California one morning after just having had an orgy the night before. He's
Like you
naked.
do.
He's naked on the floor with two girls next to him, and his friends, fully dressed, are standing above him, going, "Get the fuck up!" And he's like, "I don't know." He leans over and he starts fingering the girl next to him
Why?
with his friends
In front of your friends?
because he's still drunk. He's still half asleep, and they're like, "Dude, no, seriously, like, you got to get out."
I already don't like him.
And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "This is bad. You got some bad news going on." And they tell him that he's fucked because the whole orgy got filmed. And three of the girls are now at the police station trying to get him arrested so they can extort him.
Oh.
It is up front said everyone is a willing participant, everyone is of age. They are bad girls.
Got it.
Everything he is not a bad guy. He's just scummy.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
I am
Thank
concerned
you.
about this girl that he just started finger banging.
She was into it.
Okay,
She was
she's
into
good.
it, and
Okay,
then
good,
he
good,
pushed her away, and she went, "Oh."
I mean, I guess.
So-
you get the engine revved. You want to go.
They were also
yeah.
all three of them. It's two girls and him on the floor. They're all naked, and they have no shame. So we're not concerned about
bless.
these girls. Yes.
Okay.
If only.
Yeah.
And so he didn't do anything wrong. He's just rich, and everyone knows it. And he's part of like the Fitzpatrick oil baron family.
Of course
and
he
so
is.
they're all trying to extort him. So
Yes.
and he's also I just wrote gross asshole.
Cool.
That's not a literal thing. He's just a gross asshole.
Got it.
But he calls his da because they're also half Irish. So da Gerald Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some weird Irish accents coming from me today.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
This worked out so well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
At the time of filming, St. Patrick's Day is in like 2 days.
Yes.
So he calls his dad, and they settle, and it costs these three girls. They have it on tape that they are willing participants, but like to also get the tape down and all this stuff, it costs the family $6 million, which is just a blip for them. It's nothing. And this is in California. They have sent Hunter to a boarding school in California where he was raised also by his like aunt and uncle. They were, that was on the weekends or something. He is now, 19 or whatever. And you go, "It's time for you to come home and you're going to start." He's like, "Yeah, of course. I'm going to college. I got into Harvard." They're like, No. His dad's like, "Fuck this. You're a terrible person right now and I can't deal with this." So he goes, "You know what? You're going to stay sober and you're going to stay celibate for 6 months or you're out of the will." like everything.
Oh,
and if 6 million was a blip, can you imagine what this will is like?
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And Hunter's
These guys
like,
are old money.
yes,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
old money. And Hunter's like, no, I gotta know Harvard. And his dad's like, no, you're gonna do night classes at the local community college like a peasant, which is what he says.
Wow.
It is. This was written in 2020. So like, this is not.
I love that.
Yeah.
And he goes, and during the day you're gonna work at the company, so you can start like learning stuff. And he's like, all right, fine. He goes, also, you're not gonna live at home in our humongous mansion in Boston, but you're gonna live in one of the buildings we own with a roommate. And he's like, fine, yeah. And so he finds out his roommate is Sailor Brennan.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say Sailor Moon.
It's Sailor Jupiter.
How's it spelled?
Sailor, Sailor.
So we're starting with like a gender neutral name to kind of throw us off.
Yes.
Okay.
But it is quickly revealed Sailor Brennan is the daughter of Troy and Sparrow Brennan, who Sparrow was about. If you need to go back to our Mafia episode, I think that was season 3, episode 6.
You have a good memory.
Yeah, because
I have no
7
idea.
was magic. So she is described as a goody two-shoes, a tomboy, and the daughter of Troy Brennan, who, if you didn't know already, is a mafia fixer in Boston for the Irish mob.
Right.
All right.
He is the fixer. He is the guy that kind of cleans shit up. If you don't know those terms, again, go back to our Mafia episode. You can hear a bunch of terms. We also learned that she is training for the Olympics in archery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so she is foregoing. They're about the same age. She is not going. She put off college for a year, and because she's gonna go hard to go to the Olympics for archery.
Wow.
Good.
Okay.
That's really
So-
cool.
Okay, sailor.
And it's a dual. Okay, Sailor. So it's a dual POV. We go to her now. She is training at her place with her trainer, her coach, whose name I didn't write down, but he is an old Korean man.
Got it.
Okay.
And he's like, no boys, only archery, focus forever, blah blah blah. Like
He's
that's
right.
his like stuff.
He's right.
And yes, and Hunter shows up one day, and she knows who he is because he's like famous in Boston. Like his family is famous. Everyone knows who the Fitzpatricks are.
Did your brain go quiet for a
Well,
minute?
his dad's name is Gerald Fitzpatrick, so I was about to say Fitzgerald.
Got it.
That makes
I
sense.
understand.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the Fitzpatricks, but and everyone kind of knows who she is because she is Troy Brennan's daughter.
Right.
Is she also rich, or is she just kind of like
They-
comfortable?
She still lives at home. They don't, and her mom Sparrow is like a world-renowned chef now. So they're like comfortable rich, not like flashy Fitzpatrick rich.
Not
They're
like
not.
I could pay $6 million to
Correct.
make your orgy.
Yeah.
sex tape
Absolutely
go away.
not.
Gotcha,
Absolutely
gotcha,
not.
gotcha.
She lives off the money that she makes doing archery lessons to kids, but she still lives at home right now.
Cool.
So she's very down to earth, but she's very focused, very tomboy, that kind of person. And the Fitzpatrick family has worked with the Brennans before for certain things. We also learn about Sam, her adopted brother, Sam Brennan, who is also in the mob. So mob family, everyone
Got it.
knows everyone, and that's kind of how they got set up to be roommates.
Okay.
So Hunter comes to the training center and is like, hey, proposes this whole deal of like, if you are my roommate, my family will back you for the Olympics.
Cool.
Like we will start advertising for you. We will start like really doing a whole campaign for you because your nemesis, Lana Adler, who hates Sailor from a long fucking Lana.
Adler.
It's either Lana or Lana. Lana. What do we want to say? Lana.
Lana.
Lana Adler.
Lana.
Lana Adler.
Lana hates Sailor, fun fact. We don't know why. Sailor won't talk about it. But she is like the favorite for the Olympic team right now because there's only one spot left.
Oh no.
And so she's like, okay, she already has deals. She's getting a better opportunity for the Olympics. And Sailor begrudgingly agrees. And her mom and dad are like, you should go because you got to move out of this house. And she's like, the fuck? I'm 18. She's like, you don't live. You just do archery and you come home. You hang out with your 2 friends. She's like, okay, well, fine. So her mom and her friend, who is in the second book, Persephone, fun fact,
Yep.
help her move into this beautiful high-rise with floor-to-ceiling windows. It's gorgeous. But then they walk in. Hunter's not there. The place is a pigsty. There's food containers everywhere. There's laundry. There's trash. And her mom is like, are you sure you want to move in here, actually? She's like, you're the one that fucking told me to. She's like, I'm just worried. She goes, okay.
Welcome to living with boys.
Right.
She's like, I'll be fine, go. Sailor then spends the rest of the day cleaning up, putting all the trash in his room.
Nice.
And being
Ooh,
like,
good.
fuck this. So then he comes home. He's like, hey, roomie. He brings her like some food. He brings her like something else, and he sits down. They sit down on the couch. He like grabs her feet, puts them in his lap, and starts like, massaging them. And he's like, so about our deal. Because basically with this agreement, she's his babysitter. He has to stay sober and he has to stay celibate for 6 months.
Okay.
Meaning she is giving weekly reports to his dad.
Oh.
And he's like, I feel like we can come to an agreement. Like if I bring a girl up here once in a while. And she's like, no. Fuck that. And he's like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. And he's like, all right. And he pushes the feet off. He goes, da, da, da. He goes into his room. He's
We
like,
are too new to each other for you to be touching my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have allowed that at all.
He goes into his room and he's like, the fuck? And she's like, you left at a pigsty. And he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you. We have cleaners coming and we also have a chef. And she's like, my bad, but also don't be a pig. And then they like go to their own rooms. So it starts out very choppy.
Yeah.
I like how his parents' idea of like, we're going to make you slum it is like, you still live in this beautiful high rise. You also still have cleaners
Yes.
and a chef.
Right.
Well, also like he grew up with nannies and going to boarding school and stuff. Like he was not made for the real world.
No.
So I feel like to his parents, it's like, well, of course he needs this because he doesn't know how to do anything
He
else.
doesn't know how to cook.
Yeah.
He needs a little bit of a bone.
He needs a bone.
Else he's gonna die.
But also
starvation.
He's going to drink bleach like a baby.
a bone in the other way too, because in his inner monologue, he's like, how am I going to go 6 months without sex? Like I need sex. I can barely masturbate like every day. Like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like that's his big thing.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yes. So he's just, I mean, he's not like a sexaholic, but like a little bit.
He's a little bit of a mess, I would
Yeah.
say.
He does want to drink because he's like, oi, but like, he's like, sex would really take the edge off.
Right.
And he does notice, he's like, okay, Sailor's not like the prettiest girl, but like, she's a girl. We're
Wow.
starting there. We're starting.
Great.
She's got boobs.
She's
Yeah.
yeah.
It helps.
He starts working at the company and he immediately goes in and he's like, well, why don't I have an office like Killian? Cillillian.
Killian.
Thank you. Killian and Da. Like I was promised an office and his dad's like, no, you're a huge fuck up. You're going to sit in front of my glass office. You're going to have a desk right in front of me so I can even see your computer the entire time. And he's like, this is stupid.
Amazing.
And Killian's like, and Killian is just like the most evil looking man. He's just like, fuck up, and like walks away.
So my type. Killian's my type.
Yes, he's like cold East Coast, like
Right.
dark hair. I should say this too. I'll
I'm
say it again
picturing
later.
Kendall Roy from Succession. A little.
I would say I honestly pictured Cillian Murphy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
was gonna
think
say,
it's
that's where
like
my head went.
Also my type.
longer dark hair, but like slicked back, very East Coast 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
Pale, cold.
Great.
Like very proper.
Okay.
Hunter is like blonde, still wears a Brioni suit, like very, very like handsome, but he played polo. He's filled out a bit.
Yeah.
And then Sailor, fiery red hair, very muscular, like 5'10" or something. Hunter's about like 6 foot whatever. So
I was going to say, do you like face cast?
we'll get to that later.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
Gotcha.
So
I won't plow ahead.
don't worry about it. So he starts working. They're like, you're a fuck up. You can sit there. He's like, And his first day is like kind of shitty. And he's like, now I got to go to night class. Like, I'm so tired already. And he gets outside and he's waiting for his driver because, of course, he has a driver.
He can't drive either.
And Sailor's dad and brother Sam, the two mob people, are sitting in a car in front going, you get in.
Ooh.
And he gets in. He's like, hi. And they're like, do you know who we are? And he's like, yep, I do. I do. And they're like, hey, we're just gonna let you know, like, if you fuck with Sailor at all, if you if you treat her wrong or anything, we will actually kill you. And he goes, yeah, I know.
I do love that.
I know. And like the dad is kind of scary. Sam is in the back because he sat in the front. So
Yeah.
Sam is in the back being like, he like leans over and he's like, I know exactly where I'll put your body. And he's like, I didn't say I wasn't going to treat her bad. And he's like an angry child. He's like, I wasn't going to do anything.
That reminds me of like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding when her brother's like, look, I'll kill you, and I'll make it look like an accident. And then Joey Fatone's like, hey, we're gonna kill you.
We're going to kill you. They drop him off at home and he's like, I'm skipping class. Like, fuck this. I just want to go home. And so life continues on and their schedules are kind of opposite. But there's a gala that he needs to attend.
Right.
Within this time, I am going to yada yada over some stuff. But we do meet her group of friends. It's 2 sisters. It's the Penrose sisters. It's Persephone and Belle. Question mark.
Bells.
I wish I had written that
Persephone
down.
Penrose is a fun name.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
really pretty.
Yeah, they're sisters and they're her best friends, and they're basically kind of her only friends. But she's not like unlikable. She's just
She's
very
busy.
motivated. She's busy.
Yeah.
She might be
So-
like an indoor kid, aside from the
she's an
archery.
indoor kid. So life continues. Their schedules are opposite, but there is a gala that he needs to attend, and so he's like, "You got to go with me. You're my babysitter."
Right.
And she's like, "Can I invite my friends? Because I don't want to go to this fucking thing alone." He's like, "You're with me," and she's like, "No, I don't want to go alone." And he's like, "Okay." She's like, "They're also gonna help me get ready," and one of them takes her to a butcher shop, and they go, and he goes, he's like, "Everything is half off," and he like. That was not a Boston accent, but he like opens the thing and it's just racks of like knockoff designer shit.
Oh, I love that.
She's like, they're like, "You need a designer dress. This is how we're going to do it." And so they help her get ready and he's like, "Fine, but like, let's make a bargain. Your friends can come if," and she's like, "If what?" And he goes, "If you give me a kiss." She's like, "Why? You don't even like me." He's like, "Yeah, you're a girl and I really need a kiss." Like he's
It's
that
because he's a horny little monster.
Yes,
Oh
he's
my
a horny
god.
monster. He's a horny monster, and she's like, "Oh my." So she's like, fine, whatever. Thinking like it's gonna be a peck. I don't give a fuck. As long as my friends are there at this gala that I'm so uncomfortable going to because I've never been to like a party like this.
He's
whatever.
gonna French her good, isn't
He's
he?
gonna. Oh baby. And he's like. He's like, "You're the only one around me, Carrot Top. Like, I'm really growing attracted to you." He calls her Carrot Top. CT for short sometimes.
Oh my.
Like a scan.
I'm going to say it does grow on me.
It does.
It becomes like a term, like, "Hey, CT."
Okay,
Like,
I'm sure it'll grow on me.
It's going to grow.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't think of actual Carrot Top.
That
That was
problem.
hard.
Yeah,
That was
that's
hard
my
for me at
problem,
first.
yeah.
Yeah. So they both agree. The gala goes all right. And she becomes friends with his sister, Aisling, who is his. So it's Killian, Hunter, and Aisling. Aisling is like 17. And she immediately like sees this girl. And then she's like, "Hi." And she's like kind of fun. And she goes, "You know what?" And she grabs her, takes her to her friends. And they all become like best friends. They become a unit. And the rest of the books
that.
is about that friend group. Fun fact.
Oh, that's good.
That's
So
great.
it's like,
yeah.
so
Into
I
it.
love that already. She's having a great time. Hunter is not. He is sitting with his parents who like his parents shipped him off. His dad thinks he's a fuck up. Killian is there who's just evil in his mind. His mom is there who like he doesn't like because he's like, "Well, my mom shipped me off. Like
Right.
I don't care about her. She probably doesn't care about me."
Right.
His mom keeps trying to talk to him. He's like, "No."
Aw.
And so at one point he's like, "Okay, enough of this." He goes up to her and he's like, "Dance with me." Pulls her onto the dance floor. And she starts having a panic attack because she's like, "I don't know how to dance.
Aw.
All these people around me. I'm in a gorgeous dress. I don't know." And he's like, "Chill out. It's all right." And he like kind of calms her down and they start swaying and he's distracting her with calling her Carrot Top and she's a little indignant, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they're kind of fighting. And then he's like, "Hey, look, you're dancing." She's like, "Wow." And they kind of have this moment and it's really lovely. So they're like, "Okay, it's time to go home." They get in the limo. And Hunter is like, "Wow, am I turned on by Carrot Top? Like, this is crazy. Like, I really need to do something. I'm going to look up some pictures from past hookups." And he's on his phone looking at naked girls. And she's in the limo being like, "We just had a nice moment," and looks over and is like, "What the fuck?" Like, sees this. Sees him looking at these girls.
The correct
Hunter.
reaction. The
Hunter.
correct reaction to that.
Yes. And she gets super annoyed. So they get back and she's like, "Don't fucking talk to me." They don't talk for 2 days and neither of them really knows why because they didn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
They're just both like, "Fuck you, fuck you." And also during this time while Hunter is at work, he goes into the stairwell one day to like, he bypasses the elevator. And Sylvester, Siley for short, Syllie.
Okay. Yeah. Siley.
Sure.
Yeah, but I would go Sly
Yeah.
for Sylvester.
Yeah.
But Siley is because he's known since he was a kid, so he's
Siley.
like Uncle Siley or whatever.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's
He-
another Irish thing.
Could
Yeah.
be, yeah.
He hears Siley, his dad's right hand man, on the phone, being like, "It's okay. Like the plan is going. It's going according to plan. Like I'll take over one day. Blah blah." Like saying something nefarious, basically.
Yeah.
He hears Siley. I don't give a fuck. Sylvester on the phone in the stairwell, and he's like, "Oh, he's playing the family downfall." Hunter goes to his dad. It's like, "I just heard this," and it's Hunter and Killian. It's Gerald, his dad, and Killian in the office. Hunter's like, "I just heard this." Gerald's like, "No, you didn't." And Killian's kind of like watching him, like, And Hunter's like, "Do you guys not care?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "We don't believe you." And he's like, "Well, fine." And he walks out. So Hunter then comes to Sailor's practice. She's always practicing. He's like, I need to talk to this girl.
Well, the Olympics. You got to
Olympics.
practice a lot for the
Correct.
Olympics.
So he comes
I've
to her
heard.
and she's like, we need to talk. I want to go to a roommate dinner / maybe on a date because like you're really pretty. And she's like, oh my God, shut up. But he's like, no, we should just like hang out because I do want to get to know you. I don't really have any friends here. All his friends are in California.
I just realized that we both picked stories with roommate dating, roommate fucking.
Oh my God.
I know.
And so and he helps her into the car because a running thing is that her shoulder is starting to get very, very sore from
the archery.
From the arching.
Have you guys ever done archery?
When I was like really, really little at like a camp. I
Yeah,
would love
at a
to do it
camp.
again.
Have you?
I've done it like at the Renaissance Fair where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
$5 and it always busts the fuck
Against
out of your
your
forearm.
yeah.
It's hard.
So he wants to be friends with her. He takes her to this like random pub that she's never even heard of, but like his nanny took him to one time, and they kind of had this moment, but it's full of like these very working class like old men who kind of makes a comment about her being like, this guy is hot. Why are you with this uggo? Like it's like really fucked up. And he immediately punches the guy. He's like, what the fuck did you say about her? And they get into a fight, and she takes him home. She's like, you didn't have to do that. And he's like, that's not okay. Like, why would anyone, you're beautiful. Why would anyone say that about you?
That's cute.
So the next day he comes home and he finds her in the bathroom. He sees the bathroom door ajar and he hears some grunts and he's like, oh, is she rubbing one out? Like, and the door is ajar and she must be naked. And he's like, I have to walk past it anyways.
What a horny little man.
He sees her trying to get into a bath. Her shoulder size of like a grapefruit.
Oh no.
The inflammation is so great. She can barely move. She like falls on the ground. He goes in, he picks her up. He's like, we need to get you to the hospital.
Ooh.
Takes her in. I guess the inflammation's so bad. They get like a steroid shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And she now has like bed rest for 2 weeks, but she is like on painkillers. She has no idea. Hunter texts her coach and is like, she's done for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the next morning she figures out that he said all this to her coach, and she's like, I can't take time off the Olympics. And
They only happen every 4 years.
yes. And so they're pissed. They're fighting. She's trying to get through the door. And he's like, don't do this. She grabs her bow and arrow from the other bedroom. There's a 3-bedroom, and the third one is used for all her archery stuff. And she's like, I will shoot you.
Oh my God.
He's like, I'm not letting you do this. She shoots like the shoulder of his shirt into the door. And he goes, you missed. She goes, did I? And then she shoots the other shoulder into the door.
Oh, that's fun.
And I was like, wow.
I like that.
And
She's
he's like,
doing this at like point blank range.
I know. And she's incredible. Like her shoulder is like fucked up, and
Yeah.
she's that good.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not doing it. Like, you have to take a break. And they're fighting. They get so close. And he goes, you know what? I'm gonna cash in on my bargain. She goes, what? And he kisses her to try and like distract her.
Yeah.
I call this one number 1, 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute makeout scene against the door in which he picks her up. Against the door. Like the legs wrap around, the tongues are thrashing. And she's like she's had a boyfriend, she's had sex before, she's not a virgin, but she's never been kissed like this.
Of course.
And he is just like, wow, she's a great kisser, and they're having a good time. And then she's like, okay. They each like, he puts her down and they go, okay. 2 weeks it is. And she just like walks back to her room and is like, bed rest, and like that's it.
All right, see you later.
I respect that. I respect
she's
that.
so fucking awkward, and I love it. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, I will follow her lead. All right.
Yeah.
And so he drives her to the archery range. She's like, actually, I should go talk to my coach in person. And so he drives her to the archery range, and her coach is like, no, you're not taking a break. And Hunter gets up in her coach's face and is like, oh yes, she is, or I will tell everyone that you're negligent and that you put your students, lives in risk and blah. He's like, sounds good, you take 2 weeks. And he agrees, and Hunter's like, okay, I'll pay. Hunter's like, they walk out to the car, and Sailor's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, like blah blah. And he goes, you know what, I'll pay for the Patriots like physical therapist. She goes, what do you want? She goes, I want you to make out with me. And she's like, fine. And they get back into the car.
Things I must do.
They get
For
back
the
into the car.
Olympics.
And he's like, you hungry? She's like, yeah. She goes, let's go get some brunch. She goes, fine. And they go to a diner and they talk, and he starts telling her about work troubles because, again, he has no friends. He's like, this is my only friend. I don't want to fuck it up, but also she's so cute. whatever. And so he tells her about the Siley stuff and how his dad doesn't listen.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I can help with that. And she's like, oh, he goes, oh yeah, you're like part of the mom. She's like, no, I'm not. My dad is a respected businessman until proven otherwise. It's like, it's something that has been drilled into her head.
Yes.
He's like, okay. And she takes him to a retired FBI guy who she has to call her brother to be like, can you vouch for us? And he's like, yep. And they go in. He goes, what do you need? And he goes, I need all of this surveillance stuff.
Oh, cool.
And he she helps him bug the entire office of Sylvester so they can catch him planning something nefarious.
Oh, I love a scheme. I love a scheme as a way to bring a couple together.
Yeah. And as they're getting all this surveillance stuff, they flirt. And so she is out late one night, like, I don't know, with her friends or something, and he orders food. This is like a week or two later. And he orders food, and the power is out. And so the delivery girl has to walk up the stairs. So there's no camera has caught this delivery girl coming in.
Okay.
She's a very cute girl, and she's like, hi, delivery for you. And Hunter's like, sure, yeah, do you want to like come in and just like hang out? And she's like, okay. Because he's just like, I just want to hang out with someone. And I'm like, I feel
he's not
so
even trying to
bad.
have sex with her anymore or anything. Like, it feels like he's tamed, he's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, forced celibacy really calms him
Yeah.
in. But also, like, I think he's kind of like, I would have tried to fuck her, but like, I think I could just hang out with her. And so they start hanging out.
women are people.
Yeah.
Weird.
They watch him full movie. She comes on to him. She takes off her bra, leaves her shirt on. Very sexy.
All right.
And as she takes off her bra, she drapes it over his head. And he's like, okay. Well, I don't really want this. At that moment, Sailor walks in. He's like, Sailor. Takes the bra because it's still on his face. He like didn't stop it. Sailor's pissed.
Yep.
And the girl like leaves, and you know, he's like, she's pissed. He goes, nothing happened. It gets very heated. They're kind of fighting. There's a sexual tension, and then they start going at it. He follows her into the bathroom. They're fighting. He pushes her up against the sink cabinet.
Vanity.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I call this one number 2, mutual pleasure, minimum work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in which she's like, I'm not doing anything. He's like, I'll do it all. And he goes down on her, then he uses his hands, and then he
This doesn't count as breaking celibacy?
No lo sé.
Okay.
If
wait.
Gerald doesn't know it, would Gerald
Right.
know?
That's true. Tree in the forest, my
She's
friend.
not going to respond.
Yes.
She's not going to
Also-
tell on him.
Also,
Yeah.
they're not having sex. It's celibate.
He's going down on her. I mean, his face is touching
He's
a vagina.
eating dinner.
Yeah.
He's eating dinner.
That's what they
That's
did.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. He's greasing her peach. It's fine.
Ew! Ew! What did you just say? What did you just say?
I heard that in shrinking.
Greasing the peach.
I think that's a great term for it. Well, you can't. What do you say when you're like wet?
Not that.
Nothing.
You can't say I'm getting juiced.
I would.
I'd rather
if
not.
I would, as an alternative to greasing the peach.
What it like rather like that turns me on, that gets me going, and like that greases my peach. Again, this is from Shrinking. I can't take.
Please continue.
Okay, so, anyways, there's a lot
I'm
of
going to
eating
say
out.
it to my husband when I get home later.
Okay, tell me how it goes.
Okay. Not in a serious way, because we're not serious with each other at all. But
No.
But if he likes it, let me know. I'll start using it.
Yeah.
So
Report back.
he greases her peach, and all that stuff happens. And then during her it's still within her 2 weeks, she starts doing a lot of press, because this is part of the like agreement that his family was going to like back
Right.
her for stuff. And so within this, she also gets a new wardrobe and a new haircut. She
I
never
love
really
it.
took pride in her appearance. She just had long, big hair. She wore very loose clothing or workout clothes.
She's a tomboy.
She's a tomboy. She gets a chic bob. Her friends are like very Emma Stone. I was like, okay. She has this fire red hair, chic bob. She gets more form-fitting clothes, and she comes back from a shopping spree with her friends, and they're like she's trying everything on. He walks in, he's like, whoa, and the friends are like, we're gonna go.
I love a makeover.
I do too.
That's a good trope.
And they're both very attracted to each other. He sees her in all these clothes, and he's like, the girls are sitting out in the common room. She keeps coming in and out from trying clothes. He comes in, he's like, holy fuck, goes to his room and goes, Sailor, there's a spider on my pillow. Will you come kill it? And she's like, no. The friends are like watching like, huh. And he goes, fine, I will capture the spider and put it on your pillow. And she's like, I know there's no spider. And he goes and she goes into his room, and all the girls are sitting out. She goes, I know there's no spider. And Persephone's like, what if there actually is a spider? She goes, well, fuck. And she gets up. She's like, I gotta go see.
Those are good friends.
It was real, and all the friends know. They're like,
oh yeah,
they fucking know.
Yeah.
And she's like, he goes, I really want to cash in my favor now. I really want to make out with you. And she goes, I can't do this.
We have company.
Right. Well, not only that, but she's like, we have to stop because I'm actually going to start to get feelings for you if this is something that starts happening, because I'm already starting to feel something. And he goes, okay, I respect that. Thank you for letting me know, and I'm not going to do anything.
I love communication.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Love that.
And so later, like a day or two later, they're summoned to the Fitzgerald mansion for a dinner with her family and his family, both families. And it does not end well. And Hunter, his dad is a piece of shit. Killian's a piece of shit. They yell at Hunter. Hunter gets up and walks away to like another wing of the house in which there's a butterfly garden.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Sailor stands up and she's like, fuck off, both of you. Like, he's trying. Like, you guys don't love him. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, it's like, can you just be better people? And like goes off after him. And she follows him to the butterfly garden. And it's like a whole metaphor because she's been hiding her whole life behind archery and not living. And these are the butterflies are symbols of freedom, but they're trapped in a glass cage and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Personally, I don't like butterflies. Fun fact.
What?
Yeah, I'm scared that they're going to get trapped in my hair. Anyways.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because that's also why you're scared of birds, right?
Yes. Also beaks. But also when I was a kindergartner, we raised baby butterflies. I didn't realize they were like bugs because I was a kindergartner. I was like, oh, it's a butterfly. Right. And they put them on our fingers, and then the butterfly started crawling up me, and I was like, no, and I flung it off me, and my teacher was like, it's a baby butterfly, you can't do that. And I was like, it's a bug. And ever since I've been like, no, to
You're
butterflies.
such a city girl.
And so, and it's there's a romantic tension, and then he's like, okay, I can't be here anymore, I gotta go. And they leave separately because she's like, it's gonna look weird if we leave together.
Right.
And so she gets home and she sees that his door is ajar, and she's thinking about all the stuff he told her at the butterfly garden, and how he actually likes her, and you know, he liked her before she changed and got a chic look, and he likes her still. And she goes to the ajar door, and they both go in. They finally give in, and they bang. And I call this one number 3. They broke the bed because it's been like 3 months, and he was so pent up that he broke his king size bed.
Damn.
Wow.
And I was like, that's kind of hot.
What position were they in when they broke the bed?
Missionary.
I mean,
I'm 90% sure.
all right. Wow.
But they kept doing it all night long. Hashtag all night long.
honestly, good for her
Good for her.
Yeah.
for handling
Yeah.
that level.
I think
of
it was
pressure.
I think it was like he's over her holding on to the headboard,
Right.
going at it.
He does
Right.
like an Edward Cullen like snap.
I
Well,
think
that's why I'm
what
like-
I pictured. It was the Edward Cullen honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Yes.
if her shoulder is that fucked up, I'm like, good for
Well,
you, girl. You
yeah.
you were resilient.
So they can only do missionary.
Yeah.
So there's because if you're on all fours, that's gonna fuck up.
It's a
your,
lot on the
Yeah.
shoulder. Yeah.
So 6 weeks pass, and the schedule's the same. They work and train. They work, and he goes to class. She trains. They fuck. Hunter loves that they're always in her bed because his bed is still broken. They don't want to alert his dad to anything.
we can't break multiple
Can't break
beds. That's
multiple
gonna
beds.
look suspicious.
Yeah.
But then he finally buys a new bed because his friend and his friend's girlfriend are coming to visit from California.
Fun.
And while they have
nice of him.
3 bedrooms, the 3rd bedroom is saved for all the archery stuff. So he goes, I'm going to buy a new bed. I'm going to sleep on the couch because obviously no one can know that we're fucking because like I would be kicked out of the will. So they're going to take my bed, blah, blah. She goes, oh, okay, cool. And are coming for a visit. Sailor is hanging out with the girls. And so she sets up a play date. By the way, while this is all being planned, she sets up a play date with Hunter and his brother Killian. Because he goes, can I come hang out with you? When the girls, she goes, no, it's a girls thing, but you need to do something. And so she goes, you and Killian are going to go horseback riding.
No.
Oh my god.
And so he's like, fine. And so he goes and Killian, and it's like he needs Boston friends. And it's like, actually, he's like, Killian's such a piece of shit, but also like, what a nice brother bonding moment.
Yeah.
And they kind of talk about the work stuff, and he's like, why didn't you back me? And Killian's like, this is your thing. Like, you need to, you found it out. You need to figure this out. Like, I'll be here, but like, I believe you. But also,
Yeah.
you need to prove to dad that like you can do this, and I know you can. It's like that kind of thing.
I love that. Like a true mentorship. I'm not going to take credit for your thing. You handle it.
But he says it in such a meaner way.
Yeah. Like a true older brother.
Yes.
So, like that's how you talk to your younger sibling.
Yeah.
So his after that, his California friends come, and while they're there, he kind of ignores Sailor. Because he doesn't know how to act around her. They've been fucking, but he's like, no one can know. And so he treats her kind of shitty, and he doesn't know how to act, and also no one can know about their arrangement. They all go out to a movie theater that they rented out because they're rich.
Yeah.
And Sailor wanders around. It's an old haunted movie theater in Boston.
Cool.
And
the dream.
And Hunter follows her, and they go back behind the screen, and they bang. But Sailor's like, I can't do this. And he's like, yes, you can take it. And then it's like, no, you don't understand. I can't do it like this. You're treating me like shit. And he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, we're done. And then they're done. Then they finish. And then the friends are like, they like pull something aside. They're like, huh. So this is what celibacy looks like. And he's like, shut the fuck up.
They're right.
Yeah. And she's like, I just don't want to be treated like this. And so he's mad, but he also misses her. And he goes to apologize like the next day or something. But he learns that she went to New York City for a photo shoot.
Got it.
So he's like, oh, well, I can't apologize right now. And meanwhile, he's listening to tapes of Sly because he's been bugging the office. And this is something that they've been doing together. They've listened to hours of audio to try and find something together.
That's
like him.
cute.
Yeah. So
Again, I love a scheme.
I love a scheme. So he's listening to these tapes and he finds some proof that he's planning to take over the company.
Okay.
Sailor comes back from New York City and goes to the archery club to find Hunter shirtless with Lana standing over him. And she's like, what the fuck? And she leaves. She runs out. She's like, I don't know what to do. There's a bunch of paparazzi outside the archery club. They catch her. They catch Hunter running out shirtless, trying to be like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's freaking out. She runs home and she's like, I can't do this anymore. She moves out, gets all her stuff, moves back in with her parents. Hunter keeps trying to call her. He's going to her house, all this stuff, beep boop bop. Finally, he basically stalks her to the club and corners her and is like, I can prove to you that wasn't what you think it was. Turns out he had bugged her coach as well. Because after the whole moment where he was like, she needs 2 weeks off. And he was like, no, she doesn't. And he's like, look at her shoulder. He was like, something's off about this guy. So it turns out the coach was working with Lana.
Oh, see, I was right. She did need a different coach.
Yes, you were right. To tank Sailor's chances at the Olympics.
Oh,
and
shit.
he also got a recording, because it was in the office, of proving he wasn't sleeping with Lana. Lana being like, I'm going to ruin Sailor's chances and you're her weak link. So take off your shirt. And he's like, why? And she's like, do it. And like, I couldn't, I yada yada over it.
Huh?
So with this recording, she like gets the proof. She like makes copies. She writes a letter and she puts it in all of the Olympic judges' bags, because that's the reason Lana's there in Boston. Like, the Olympic trials are about to happen.
Got it. Okay.
And so then she goes out to the archery range and she stands in front of the target, and Lana's practicing, and she's like, do it. If you hate me this much, do it. And Lana's like, I'll do it. She's like, or you can just admit what you did and like that you tried to tank me, and I will remove myself from the running. And she goes, okay, fine. I did it. Blah, blah, blah. And we learn the reason Lana hates Sailor. The trigger warning, I guess. Yeah, actually, trigger warning. This is terrible. Okay. At archery camp, some kids were like, Sailor, trying to make the target with a blindfold. She's like, okay. She puts a blindfold on, shoots the arrow. Here's a yelp. They had put Lana's dog. Yeah. And it was and Sailor was so upset. She's like, this is completely an accident.
Yeah.
So then she goes and tells Lana. Lana tries to like hurt her with an arrow. Sailor pushes Lana, impales her on an arrow.
Oh,
Holy shit.
So not only did she accidentally kill a dog, she like maimed Lana.
Oh my God.
And ever since, Lana has had a lifelong vendetta against Sailor.
What a twist
I mean,
that is.
yeah, like
You didn't see it coming.
no.
No.
I
And-
hope all those children are in hell.
I do too. This is a work of fiction.
There are some unforgivable things.
Yeah.
But
and
so
it's
so
killing a
that's
dog.
it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
But it was a complete accident, and I was like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah.
And so no wonder she doesn't want to make any friends. Like, that was really traumatizing.
Yeah.
So she gets all that on tape. She tells all this, and she was wearing a wire this whole time. As Lana admits all this, all the judges know, but she is true to her word. Sailor takes herself out of the running, but Lana also gets disqualified. So she's like, okay, quid pro quo. There we go.
Wow.
So while this happens, Hunter goes to his dad with more proof, but doesn't say anything because his dad is like, if you cut contact with Sailor forever, you can be in the will. We can like forget all this. Because by now he knows that like him and Sailor have kind of had a thing going on.
Okay.
And he goes, no, I'm not going to give up Sailor.
Oh.
And his dad goes, okay, you're fired. He goes, cool, great. Sailor comes over and she's like, I know I'm not living here anymore, but I told you I'd help you with this thing. So they still listen to hours of Sylvester on this surveillance audio. And they get more concrete proof, and they learn that Sly wants to kill the entire family
Holy shit.
to take over the company.
Wow.
So they're like, oh my God, we got to do this. Killian and his dad, meanwhile, have flown up to Maine to go to like an oil refinery. They cannot get in touch with him. He calls the FBI and he's like, get this guy because he's about to do stuff. And they send him all the recordings.
They just ring up the FBI.
They ring up the
just
FBI.
for fun.
Well,
Get
remember,
the FBI on the horn.
remember
Right.
Sailor's dad is part of the mob. He knows who the FBI
He knows the
is.
FBI. You're
And
right.
he's
you're
working
right.
with an old FBI guy for surveillance.
Got it. Yeah.
So
No, you're right.
the FBI arrests Sly, and Killian and Dad aren't picking up their phones. So him and Sailor go up to Maine to stop the explosion that they think is about to happen. And they run up to the hotel. And his dad and Killian are sitting there going, "You've passed the test." And Hunter's like, "Are you
knew it. I
fucking
knew
kidding me?"
Do they have balloons?
No, they're
Damn
just, and his dad is like, "Let me hug you, son." And Hunter's like, "Go fuck yourself." They get in a car, they drive like the 3 hours back to Boston silently, pretty much. And on the way home, he's like, I can't believe no one is on my side. Like, no one thought this was a thing. Sailor's like, I'm on your side. And he's like, if you were on my side, we would be together. Like, I've already told you how I feel about you, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you know, I'm not your dirty secret. Like, it still feels like you're ashamed of me, da, da, da. And he's like, I'll prove to you that I love you. A week later, she does a morning show interview because this whole thing with Lana really exploded in the news.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's doing an interview about the archery scandal, and all of a sudden Hunter surprises her on air. He walks on and he declares his love for her.
Oh my.
Not making her a dirty secret anymore. And she's like, okay. They have like a little banter thing, and then they like make out on TV.
On TV.
And
on Good Morning America.
yes, and the host is like, this is a family show. And he's like, fuck that. She's like, fuck that. And she's like, okay, we'll go to commercial. And so they make out and they make up. Family dinner happens. Everyone is okay. I'm gonna yada yada over some of this, but like everyone's like, you're in the family now. Beep boop bop. It's great.
Congrats.
The epilogue is that it's been 2 years. They live together. They're fucking. He wakes her up and eats her out. Number 4, I call second breakfast. And he asks her to marry him. She says no. She goes, let's wait a little longer. And then he goes into the office. His dad's like, did she say yes?
Oh.
He's like, not yet. And she's like, you idiot. You got to get her a better ring. And it's him being like, she'll say yes soon. And that's the end.
Oh, I kind of like that.
That's
Yeah.
really cute.
It had some weird twists and turns, but I was like,
yeah.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
a fun story.
So my game is, who are you picturing?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
So Hunter, blonde hair, clean cut, suits, blue eyes, played polo, hot. Do you want me to go down the list of the 3?
Who was the guy from Quinn that we were just talking about?
Jamie Campbell
Bower.
Built, played polo?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
You want me to come up with a muscular blonde man? I don't know any of them.
I got one because my brain will picture someone, and sometimes it doesn't even make sense for the actual description of the character. It'll
Okay.
just pull out one word.
Fair.
And the word my brain has pulled out is polo. And it went to water polo.
Okay.
And then I went to the OC.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I went to Chris Caramack. Is that his name? That plays
The bad boyfriend?
yeah.
Okay, that kind of hair is exactly what I was picturing.
But yeah, but that's he is blonde and he is kind of built. So.
I was picturing Prince Charming from Shrek 2.
Sure.
So that's my who do you picture.
Yeah.
For Sailor. Bitch.
Don't cut that. Don't cut that. Don't cut that. Don't cut that.
For those who are just listening, I just threw my phone
Bitch.
on the ground and I said bitch and nothing. Okay, it's Sailor. Red hair, was long, now into a bob. A little athletic build, green eyes, a little bit taller. I would say if Sophie
Turner?
Yes,
From Game of
Sansa
Thrones?
Stark.
Yeah.
If she was a little more muscular,
Yeah.
I think she would be perfect.
It's either, do you watch Yellow Jackets? The redheaded woman from Yellow Jackets. with like the scars on her face. I can't think of her name.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But like this character is like in the middle of the younger version of her and the older version of her from the show.
Okay.
Some like amalgamation of the redheaded girl from Yellow Jackets.
What's up? Lauren Ambrose. Oh,
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Okay.
Lauren Ambrose. I had such a crush on her in
Lauren
high
Ambrose.
school.
Okay.
When she was on 6
6
Feet
Feet Under.
Under.
Yes,
Oh,
her.
man.
I agree. That's a perfect. Thank you, Andrea.
Yes,
Thank you, Andrea.
That's good. I like that too because she's hot.
Yeah. And then the third one I did was Killian, which was, I kind of already talked about it, but like tall, lanky, East Coast posh, dark hair, icy eyes, pale.
I can't not see Cillian Murphy.
I
now.
only
Yeah.
saw Killian
Yeah.
Murphy to be,
Yeah.
and I wonder if that's who she, because he's Irish. I mean, they're of Irish descent
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm. And is there a book about Cillian?
It's the Persephone,
Got it.
it's the Mercedes one.
Nice.
But that was The Hunter by L.J. Shen.
I really liked that.
Great. Yeah.
So out of 5 raccoons and trash cans, what would you rate both of our stories based on the idea and trope of opposites attract?
I think I would give the fan fiction, I would say 4.5.
thank you.
Great
Yeah.
rating.
Book, I would say, this is so stupid, and I was thinking about this after you said it. So I listened to this podcast that
Is it Femmes Reading Filth?
it is Femmes Reading Filth.
Knew it.
It's got Freddie Prinze Jr. on it, and he hosts it with like his friend, and they talk about horror movies. But so on that podcast, they do like 5 hooks because of I know each of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his friend is always like, I refuse to give a 5 to any movie where a dog dies. So
Fair.
I cannot
The
give,
dog did die in this one.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to say 4.
Okay, that's totally fair.
Yeah. Fair.
Well, we do like to. We didn't do in our 4th season, but we like to end our episodes with a little segment we call "What are you reading?" So, are you reading anything right now that you can talk about on air, or that you would want to recommend, or anything you recently read? Maybe
I'm reading multiple things right now because I'm one of those people that.
same. I
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
So I'm reading. So fan fiction. I've been reading a lot of Dean Supernatural.
Yep.
Fan fiction.
Nice.
I am also reading a book called Save the Cat.
I've heard of that book.
Which is like a novel
It's a writing book. Yep.
Yes, I've been working on my craft. So,
Nice.
so I've been
Nice.
reading that. And then I am also reading, and I'm so happy I get to shout this out. I'm reading a book called All I Wanted Was a Glass of Vino, and I Got Kidnapped by an Alien Duke instead.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed already. Is this by the same person that wrote I accidentally yeeted a love potion at a werewolf?
No.
Okay.
But the name of the author is Petra Palermo.
Okay. I think I know that name.
She's amazing. I might have brought it up to
you did.
before.
You did.
It's the 3rd in her Bubble Babe series. If you like Ice Planet Barbarians, you'll love these. It's right up the same alley.
Famously love Ice Planet
Yes,
Barbarians.
we do.
And she's amazing. She's another like self-pub indie author.
Okay.
So definitely look up her stuff.
Ooh, good job for the shout out then. Nice.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to mention her because
Yeah.
I'm
That sounds
a
fun.
big fan.
Hey Jessica. What are you reading?
I'm not reading it necessarily, although I do own a copy of it, but I am mostly listening to Gideon the Ninth right now, which is so fun and so good. And I'm having such a good time. And it's one of those, it's basically just really good sci-fi fantasy. And it is essentially like a murder mystery in space. And also there are lesbians in it.
Oh.
I had a
And
friend recently recommend this to me.
I
was like,
highly, highly recommend. The world is really cool, and it's this weird it's like everyone is necromancers, but they are also on planets.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
like space necromancers, and just so the world is really, really cool, and the characters are really cool, and it's this fun blend of like futuristic stuff, but also this like gothic horror thing because
Ooh,
it's
okay.
like a haunted murder mystery too on the inside of it. So I'm only about halfway through it, but I'm having a great time, and I'm so glad that and there's a sequel too. So yeah, highly recommend Gideon the Ninth. And then as far as fan fiction goes, because we got to do them both, I'm reading a lot of Severance fan fiction right
Ooh,
now,
nice.
which is very fun. If you want to read some Severance fan fiction, I highly recommend it because it's so weird And
I need to watch that show in general. I haven't yet, and I want to.
I'm about to start it.
Especially
so.
since you work in like a more corporate setting. I had many, because my husband does not work in a corporate setting, and I had many conversations like trying to explain to him how well they were like hitting the vibe of what it's like, and like the unique horror of a corporate setting. So Severance fanfiction is a very niche type of fandom, but I highly recommend it if you do watch the show. It's really, really fun. Hey, Emily.
Oh yeah.
What are you in?
Oh, word. So I just finished Scythe and Sparrow.
Yes.
By Bryn Weaver. It's the third in the Ruinous Love trilogy. I loved it. It was great. And then I also read a YA novel called Where the Dark Stands Still, which was very fun. And before I start my next actual book, which is going to be A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, I was like, oh, I'm going to read some smut, like some like nothing smut.
Yeah.
And so I found Courting Her Monsters by Erin Bedford, which is about a deaf princess and dragon monsters. And I was like, this is what I need. This is perfect. So it starts out a little fucked up. Very excited to see where it goes.
Great.
I need therapy.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug your book again,
Oh, yeah,
please?
plug your pluggables.
All your pluggables. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram at RiotGrrrlReads. It's all one word. GRRRL.
We also follow you, so you can find us. You can find her through the Femmes Reading Filth Instagram as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Just on Instagram, right?
Just on Instagram.
Okay.
Yep. And then my book is called Call on Me by Katie Edward. That is my name.
Yep.
Also, I never actually said what the book was about.
Oh, sorry. Go on. Go
I just
quick.
was like, it's Clariline fan fiction. It is a sex work positive contemporary romance. Essentially, fake dating. I need a date to a wedding, so I've hired a
sex worker.
Nice. However, this particular sex worker is new to the business because she just went through some things and she needs a job. So
Love that.
Fun.
that's my elevator pitch. But yeah, you can find it on Amazon. Should be on Kindle Unlimited.
Great.
We'll double check on that.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was such a good time. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I had such a good time.
Yeah. And we're just two raccoons.
Talking about
The best trash in town.
Bye.
Bye. Femmes Reading Filth is hosted, produced, and edited by Emily Barusian and Jessica Mall. Intro music by Tom Lehrer. Outro music by David Reddick. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Femmes Reading Filth. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.